to the big kahunas, Neil and Sean. They're going to be taking over Flex, and I'm Joey. I'll see everybody at the green screen, and we'll see everybody tomorrow. Peace.
Have been told that.
The whole point is we are not network TV, dude.
I'm here like on pins and needles.
Like you don't have to stop at 1:59. It's already 2:01. You
I
might
thought it was
as
going
well.
to be some like which chest wax hair to use. You know, hair wax. Chest. You missed that discussion.
I clearly okay. Well, somebody. Now I'm getting filled in because.
Yeah, no, they were talking about how they shaved their chest. So that's all.
Are we talking?
No.
Are we talking about the what's the movie?
Man.
What's the movie again? Steve Carroll.
Virgin, 40-year-old virgin.
40-year-old virgin. Is that what we're talking about? You guys do that stuff?
No. They do it. I don't have.
That's
I'm trying to cover up stuff. These guys are trying to show stuff. So that's
one of the best.
That's
one of the best scenes, man. Legit.
Yeah.
It gets too itchy.
I got the Italian. Good. I don't want to show everybody. I want to hold off.
What are we talking? What's going on?
Tarps off. Yeah.
Market good, circle bad.
Tarps off, trades on.
I don't know. I don't even know what's going on. Who knows what's going on, everybody? Apparently it was some fun discussions while I got up to get a tea or was like talking to Obi or something, which I don't know why I'm depressingly looking at Circle here as it's down 15%. The market's absolutely booming right now. I don't care what you're looking at. Bitcoin has been pretty strong. I need to get back into that one. The Nasdaq's up 1.6%, pretty much clean most of the day. Like the only thing, and I hate to lament it, the only thing that's really a disappointment, obviously Circle's not having a great day, and neither is CoreWeave, is Tesla. Like Tesla, as we're at the highs, it's still at the lows. There just hasn't been anything for them. I know we'll probably talk about this name as one of the ones, maybe, I'm actually not even sure whether a Tesla's gonna end up on the list of what you guys want to discuss in the rundown, but we'll get to that later. Crypto adjacent names, like look at Robinhood, another fresh high. I know I've heard a lot of people, I've seen way too many times in the chat, all-time highs for Robinhood. It's $85. We're gonna get there. We're just not there yet. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Just yet. I'm in Palantir. I've hopped out of all of the longs I had in the morning, and Palantir ended up just being the last thing that we played into when it broke out. So like a breakout play is all I have left, and I'm so glad that we got away from Tesla. There'll be more to discuss there. But yeah, great day for the markets. So I still, you know what, to be honest, I'm trying to figure out how the conversation got to chest hairs in the first place.
Have you watched the midday show in the last?
No, and it just, but usually there's some kind of a segue that gets you to a topic.
No, these guys are just talking. They were just talking like normal, and they're just like. Remember yesterday I showed that half pornographic video of Sharif. Anyways, yeah,
okay.
I just came into that.
No, I'm just very curious because usually there's some kind of a flow that takes you from one topic to another. It's just
you would think, but. Big Kyle was looking at some chest hair situations, and that's what he compared Sharif to an Egyptian cat, the hairless Persian.
Okay.
Anyways, it's all good. All right, so just real quickly here, Amazon. You know, we were long into this one right when we left you. We got stopped out there once it broke 215, 212.50, but then we got long again off the 200 period. We're still into that one. Big Bear AI, that's had a hell of a big bear day as well. That's up now 20-something%. We didn't get long. We wrote down 440. This might actually be on the list as well. All right, man, let's go back over to the desk or to the screen right now, and let's do the rundown, what they all voted on. And apparently you can only vote once, or can you?
They won't know. Welcome, everyone, to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. The big boys, well, they're locked, they're loaded, and they're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. But the only way to get those tickers up there, join Joseph and I on the midday show and get into that chat. Super easy way to vote, guys. $, 3, 4, or 5 letter ticker, and it votes automatically, guys. So make sure you're voting, liking, sharing, and subscribing if you're not already subscribed. Here's a look at all 4 major averages, all 4 decidedly in the green, being led here by the triple Qs up 1.6. A good look for the Russell as well, up 1.25, with the ES up 1.17, and just a little bit ahead of the ES is the Dow up 1.19. So a good look on all 4 major averages. The first ticker, as decided by you with the most mentions in the chat, TSLA. Had a great day yesterday, started off well today in the pre-market, boys, but is down now almost 2% on the back of this headline. The NHTSA looking to scrutinize the launch of the robo-taxi after some videos showing erratic driving by some of these robo-taxis in Austin, boys.
Yeah, you know, sometimes every now and then you might spill something on a nice shirt, and the best thing you can do is just not sit there and like rub it in like a fool to make it worse. That's all you could do. You can like the long in Tesla, but you didn't have to. You didn't have to fight it the whole way. There was just no. You would have just
want to get me in trouble.
Could have just made a mess of Tesla. I wanted to play it off to 350. Well, I mean, do you see anything bullish about? I see something bearish about 350 in a second, but there was nothing bullish about it when it got down there. I took one bounce. There it is. There's it bouncing, trying to reclaim 350, and then breaking the prior low. In hindsight being 2020, let's be real, trading other things at the time, and we'll get to, they're at the bottom of the list, Nvidia and AMD. But at the moment that this came back through VWAP, or came to VWAP and rejected 350 the other direction, that's about 950. We'll show what we were doing at that time because it would have been the chip names. But ultimately, I guess it's a bigger deal than what I thought. That said, we can slow our horses. It's only down 2 points today. It was up significantly more than that in yesterday's trade. And the upward trend is still very much intact. Looks like we might have just run into some resistance and an excuse for a little bit of a sell-off. I'd be more concerned, as I said this morning, if we lose the 200 and the 50-period moving averages down here on Tesla, which we're not in threat of. As a matter of fact, we're basically maybe pulling back into prior highs at 333. That could be your Wednesday trade. I don't think we'll see that today. Market's kind of strong to see Tesla drop $8 from here, but tomorrow, 333 looks like it could be some support. Like I said, you could have fought the long in this, or you could just stay away from it. I didn't sniff out the short. That's a shame, but who cares?
Yeah, I kind of care a little bit because that 250, we had written down 250. It comes right back up there to 250, and that should have been a short there once you realize that had broken down. And I can actually show you my conversation pre-market with Chef Joe, and I had said that I am not really feeling Tesla too much here today, and was waiting for it to come back into 350. But as Neil had mentioned there, the way yesterday we were all over Tesla, loved it. We had it at 930 O's. Like as soon as the market opened, we were long Tesla there yesterday, and it went up $20. But it's just like today just didn't really catch me as far as the headline is concerned. The robo-taxis are still, even with that crazy driving experiment there, went into the wrong lane, still better than 98% of the drivers that currently have driver's licenses, I would say, if not more than that. So let's just be perfectly honest here. If you look up the crash and the driving data for full self-drive, it's millions and millions of miles without accidents or anything like that. You turn on the news tonight, you're going to hear stories of unfortunate passing of numerous people due to drunk driving, due to impaired driving, doesn't have to be drunk, things like that. I think full self-drive is changing the world, not just for, maybe not robo-taxi, we'll see, I mean, that's going to have to come out, but that is using the FSD. Think about people that, for example, can't get driver's license for other medical reasons. Full self-drive, does give you some of those abilities back. So I like Tesla here. I really like what it's doing as far as the technology is concerned. As far as the trade, I mean, yesterday you're up 9%. You're down 2% today. As Justin Timberlake would say, cry me a river. It's not even that bad. It's a downside move and it sucks, but this is what markets are all about. The only thing that goes up in a straight line is Big Bear AI. All right, let's go over to Sharif, talk about Big Bear AI.
Good look for this one today, Sean, man. What a move up here, 23.5%, and we're not even at the highs, guys. And there is no specific catalyst from today, but last week they did announce that they're providing these airports with a biometric passenger processing software. It's currently live JFK LAX, and Chicago's O'Hare, guys. Great look today for Big Bear AI.
All right, look, I mean, we have Big Bear AI written on this tick. You know, we've been talking about Big Bear AI now for months. We had it written down here as 440 long. You know, unfortunately, like I said, we are too busy, you know, handing it to AMD. But Big Bear AI breaks 440 right here. It danced around it. I have no idea why that level, I mean, I know why the level was key. I know why I wrote it down. It's on the daily chart, but it bounced around here at 440 for a minute. We did have an opportunity to get in there. That was 935, but then boom goes the dynamite right there. We came right back, and traders got a trade. We came right back from the gym there. It was 1220, and I was like, hey, you're near $5. I'm taking a $5 break. You know, that's for sure. So we did that, and then there it goes, man. Big Bear AI, you know, to the moon, I think, and beyond. So I don't know whether or not you're, you know, agree with this AI play or this story. I like Big Bear AI. It's 30% short float. I think it can actually even continue into tomorrow. And this is not just because I'm hella long. I've been talking about this even when we missed, right? I don't know where their earnings was. It must have been into here, maybe earnings, or maybe it was right there. And we went all the way down to 250. You know, I bought at 5 the first time, right into here, thinking that this was going to be some support. Then we bought again at 4, thinking that this might have been some kind of support. Then we bought again at 3, and we did not buy anything down there. This is why our average price is 420. So it's finally starting to get into the money. I said my first out would be around $6. We'll see if we can get that tomorrow. If not, fine. We're still going to hold this play. And then after that, you know, we'll look at 8 and above, right? I have a couple thousand shares. It's not like this is going to be a huge trade either way, but you know, I like the stock. We're trading it here today. It's in the money, and it's P&L like number 3 on the show. So I don't know, unless something else moves dramatically, I like Big Bear AI. I'm out of it if it breaks back down below $5. That's VWAP right there, 490. I could be convinced of that. I only have a third though left of my position, right? We got not most of them out, but lots out at 15s and then again at 20s there. Pretty good day there for Big Bear AI, man. Just proving again, we can trade everything, small caps, large caps, futures, everything. This is what we're doing here. Trader TV Live, hit the like button.
I traded the other one, Palantir, not Big Bear AI. Maybe similar too, because this is a conversation I had with Obi. Palantir the last few days, and I'll get to that in a quick little second, it was just a simple breakout of prior highs. In the last few days, the wicks on Palantir have been tremendous. Like wick tops at 142, and then crazy wick bottoms. Yesterday, 137, actually tagged 136. So it's just insane reversions and reversals and all that good stuff. I was looking for the breakout of the high. I actually ended up down going into like the secondary break because I got a bad trigger here. This didn't break the high. This happens every now and then with a stop order. You put a stop order in, and maybe there's some kind of weird dog pull. It never broke out the top. You get in, and then of course it just runs right back. I was away from my desk when it actually took that high in earnest, but it pulled back in and sort of rebroke the top, which we're into now. I'm looking for a 143 break, and if it breaks trend, I'm going to jump out. We're pretty much, I mean, Palantir is more or less at all-time highs. I know it's not technically at all-time highs, but you're at the last big resistance spot outside of this one opening push into one. It's like 143 and change. So to me, I want to give this a chance to break away from here and go higher, and I have a trailing stop on to see how far it can go. Now, obviously, it's a strong one, similar type of name. I don't really have much to add on Big Bear AI. We've seen consolidations like this before. This made me think of forgetting to look at Teladoc today. We had a similar long accumulation phase going into a breakout, and those can be fantastic. Big Bear AI had one. You saw one in Teladoc where it's going like day 2. Sometimes those can be a little bit of a hint. If you see, it's clearly just means someone is accumulating shares, if it's like downward trending especially, and sometimes that can lead to a good breakout trade, although this one hasn't really followed through. Big Bear AI has. Although nothing like the rally that Circle has had.
Right, and you can invest in every sector you love, all in one stock. 3D Capital under CSE, IDK, under here in the US, IDKFF. It's a risk diversified basket of 60 plus vetted investments. Get founder level exposure. The kind most investors, thank you JT Trader, I see that, can't access in some of the hottest sectors like blockchain, AI, Internet of Things, biotech, and natural resources, led by CEO whose last venture returned 150x 3D is currently trading at a discount to its asset value per share, and they're actively buying back and deleting shares. The world's highest returning investments usually come from founder level access. Think of 3D as your ETF for early stage disruptive innovation, or buy Big Bear AI. All right, over to you, Sharif.
Circle has been an absolute rocket ship lately, guys, since IPOing early this month. But today, it's having one of its worst days since coming to market. 12.83%, looking at going on 13 here to the downside. Compass Point initiating coverage today on Circle with a neutral rating, but a nice price target here of 205, which does imply downside. They're worried about revenue concentration, guys. As I mentioned on the midday, 60% of Circle's revenue, at least thus far, comes from two sources: Binance and Coinbase.
What's up to right here? I'm going to read this because I'm not sure. Not sure. So what's up to JT, Trader JT? Not sure if you saw my last super chat right before the morning show ended. I think we did, but I just want to answer your questions about where. Oh, I didn't see that right. He's located in Van City. What's up, Vancouver? The warmest part.
Is it though?
In Canada. Well, province. I don't know if it's, you know, there's probably like Victoria might be warmer there. I don't know either. What is the weather like? Well, I mean, it's not probably not too much warmer than where we are right here. Waking up at 5 a.m. We appreciate that.
Oh my God.
For the show was rough at first, but it's definitely been worth it. Look, man, we appreciate that. I'm gonna hit that like button and say mad love to you, and thank you for all of your support. I mean, as far as I know, that's at least 250 from you today. So JT, man, we want to thank you a lot. Let me know what you're trading in there as well. Like you talked about, you know, having a great sort of career since, not since watching us, but we've helped that out. So let me know, you know, what maybe your biggest win has been over the last little while. And yeah, we'd love to discuss that and just celebrate, you know, everybody that's on our show. And I said this morning, what you're waiting for is Circle to do something like this or do something like this and give you a top and give you a top. Well, I mean, that's pretty much what it did. You just had to trust this 253, 255 area right into there. We didn't break this area at all since we did to the downside. So, you know, ever since we came back and tested this at 1045, Circle's been a short ever since 1045, and then it finally pays off when we get that shelf break right there. And I don't know, like I probably, if I was in this, I probably would have only been holding half for this kind of a break, because every time it came down here, I got frustrated that it didn't break. And then there's the reload back in again, and all you really had to do was watch VWAP. It's actually pretty, I'm not going to use the word pathetic because we always miss trades, but like if you're looking at Circle today, I went over this trade already. VWAP in the afternoon. You could rewind it to yesterday or to this morning when I talked about that. But I mean, I missed the trade there. So yeah, VWAP, Circle, go boom. I said this was always a short squeeze, and that's what's happening. And there's still a lot more downside to go for Circle. So if you missed that trade, that's okay. Don't worry about it. There may be another one even today or tomorrow. Right now, it's looking like 235 is your new top.
Yeah, certainly. The other thing to consider with Circle is it's not the same thing as CoreWeave, but they fell apart at the same time. You know, the hedgies that do one thing like to do something similar. So you probably had shorts in both. You could have had longs that were coming out of both at the same moment, that type of a thing. And there's been a day like this already in CoreWeave that you can use as a little bit of guidance for what could end up being next. Like go to the daily chart here. Like the biggest move came when CoreWeave parabolic up, like its last leg up, and it pulled back $30. It pulled back 20% in a single session. What ended up happening is it held the prior day close, and then that signaled a rally back into the high. So I think if you're waiting for a bullish move in here, then I think you got to wait till tomorrow. See if it holds whatever low gets made today. Will that be 210? I mean, I don't know. That's the next level that's sort of obvious on the chart just because that's where it bounced last time. So maybe it's that. Either way, I think you need to see it hold some kind of a low. There was something fishy about that 300 fail and some of the way that it wouldn't go in the afternoon yesterday we were talking about, and that looks like it's just kind of winding in. That said, look at CoreWeave. Just because you get one 20% day or close to 20% day doesn't mean it's going to go down every day. That's not what CoreWeave did. I'm not sure Circle will be that orderly to the downside either.
All right, guys, here is a look at NVIDIA up 2.25% on the day. No NVIDIA-specific catalyst today, but we did get this headline earlier this morning. Jensen Huang selling about $15 million in NVIDIA stock, the first sale of a large planned sale, guys. He had planned this earlier. He still has more to go, up to 600,000 shares by the end of 2025.
Well, I can tell you, NVIDIA, a couple of times long this stock, but if we're good to go, this analysis on NVIDIA is going to be, are we? Brought to you by VinFast, everybody. An interesting article by Zoltan Ban on Seeking Alpha came out with VinFast's developing market strategy and starting to catch investors' attention. While competition is strong in the US and Europe, they're focusing on fast-growing markets like India, Indonesia, and the Philippines. With rising oil prices, EVs are looking more appealing. Q1 showed major progress. Losses per vehicle dropped from 61K to 18K. It's ticker VFS on the Nasdaq. VinFast, definitely one to watch. If you're interested in more, you can always scan the QR code out in front of you. I took 3 plays in NVIDIA, and ultimately it came down to, I mean, we know Jensen Huang has been selling some shares, but whatever was happening was sort of obvious between 145 and 146, where it just could not seem to break the last couple of weeks. Every time you'd get above 145, it would close underneath that. So we're getting rejections at 46. Missed the breakout. Obviously, if you're looking at AMD, which we'll get to next, then you weren't going to get the breakout in NVIDIA, but it pulled back several times. First initial dip for a scalp, it lost just under 147. Then it managed to hold a dip into that said 146 level. That played back into highs, had a VWAP retracement. It still hasn't made a fresh high, but the VWAP, I think, is the afternoon play on any kind of a dip. Now that you're clear of this 146 area, 145, 146 area, all that's left is to get to the all-time high. So unless we drop back underneath 145, the play to NVIDIA's top, went too far there, play to NVIDIA's top, I think is next in the low 150s. Maybe it's a nice slow grind, but looking long until we get to that level at least.
Okay, so for me, NVIDIA, I mean, right now we're in $1.50 in the money on NVIDIA, and we played it pretty good here this morning. You know, we got stopped out. Unfortunately, if I can maybe get away without showing you that wick, okay. Yeah, my head's not in the way. Okay, good. So right into there. So NVIDIA came right through, right? We tried to buy the 50 period. We tried to buy VWAP. And then all of a sudden, bang, comes right back into 146. You know, that was a level that we were looking at pretty much all day there, 146. So when it came in, we liked it. And it came in pretty good. So I just got to change my auto cancel here. Make sure I get the right fills. There comes 146, nice bust right back into the highs. And now you're taking out the highs again. We have a very, very small piece attached right now. But I like NVIDIA. I think it's one of the winners as we approach. And it needs some pickup, right? So it needs to get going still, NVDA. And if it does, then you're going to break through that 153 all-time high. So I think just NVIDIA right now. Microsoft is through the highs. That's actually about it. Meta's kind of close to there as well. We'll wait to see.
Amazon's through the highs.
No. I'm talking about all-time highs.
Oh, my bad. Amazon, I thought you meant today.
So far away, yeah, from that. But yeah, anyways, NVIDIA is pretty close. So it's one of the close ones right there, as we're just a couple points away from that. And I think we can get that tomorrow or the next day, or one story away from NVIDIA. And I mean, just looking again, sort of even at, the trajectory. Once you, we have so many of these little marks, but once you break above some of these levels, and we talked about it with Joe, us on the show, we showed you guys, there was quite a big imbalance there at 145, even on the level 2 during the day, and then all of a sudden it got pulled after hours, and since then it's just been straight up, man. That 145 is a nice bottom for sure. So once we get into there, we'll have a look again, but 145 for NVIDIA. Great bottom. Let's see if it can hold. That's it for me on NVDA, but I do really, really like the stock. Taking out all-time highs, 2.3% today. Just a couple more points, and we're back up there for NVIDIA. So, yeah, I like it. I like AMD, man. I mean, AMD is going to be the P&L number 1 for us here today, and we're going to go talk about it right now.
Melius Research upgrading AMD today from a hold to a buy, boys, upping the price target, from $110 to $175. AMD has been on a rampage to the high side lately, and another 6.5% today, boys, trading near the highs.
Yeah, and look, it's right at the high, 6.5%, super strong move. It's done more than that before. For AMD, I just had VWAP hold and continuation long for it. And that's, I mean, sometimes you're just like, you're looking for a long on the stock. It ends up corresponding with a prior high. Now, sometimes I would just say prior high, but in the moment when we're looking at it, it's, when I come in the morning, it's underneath the prior high. It wasn't gapped above the prior day high. So all I was thinking, it's holding VWAP in there. I want to see it hold on to VWAP. Right at the open, the first thing it did is dip right in, hold the even dollar, just about at the volume weighted average price in the prior high. It then broke back out. I had a couple of trades in the long into the 145, and then I did take an attempt at this VWAP here and got out. And then the last VWAP trade at about like 10:30 or so. I think Nvidia is more likely than AMD to pull back to VWAP this afternoon. So I think it's much more likely that I get into NVDA again than AMD, which I'm not saying it's too strong to pull back into the volume weighted average price. Doesn't mean I wouldn't take a dip buy, but certainly the one more likely to get there is, in my opinion, Nvidia to pull back into the volume weighted average price. Palantir, by the way, just broke trend. So I jumped out of that recent long. I'm looking back into 142, the prior high. So if we pull back into 142 and show any kind of a bottoming tail, I'll go for a long there or the volume weighted average price on Palantir.
All right, we'll talk about your trade of the day after we review Ogen. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., yet there is still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Oragenics, symbol OGEN, is changing that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Oragenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Scan that QR code, find out more about Oragenics. So thank you to them, symbol OGEN, of course, listed over there in the Nasdaq. We'll find them out. Sorry, NYSE listed, Ogen. Okay, so just quickly here, as I was saying, man, I think this has to be the trade of the day right now. We're still involved in this. It's now $4 in the money. Just buying it off VWAP. As Neil said, man, you don't need to be the smartest guy around here to make some good trades. And there it goes, man, VWAP. Boom. There it goes all the way to the upside, man. We're here to trade this. There it goes. Monster move up to 137. That happened pretty quickly, man. That was within the first hour. You had $4 on that. It did pull back. We didn't reload anything. Could have reloaded some more at the 200 period moving average, but we already had our fill there. If it came into VWAP, I think that would have been a little bit better, but yeah, the 200 seems to be great, man. There it goes, AMD. What a success story. We talked about that with Mitch a little bit earlier today, and just saying how it was relatively hated at the beginning of the year. I don't know if that's true or not, but we did have that move down on liberation and on tariffs. And like everything else, man, and now you're up from 75 all the way to 150, would be a double up, and it looks like that's where we're going. So I don't think this name really stops until 150, and then when it does, I believe we get a decent pullback, right? And so, well off of the 200 or the 50 period moving average. To me, that generally means there's a pullback coming. I think we're too far extended right now on AMD. It's a monster trade. Like I said, I don't think there's been any more money made on any name, especially this month, than AMD. So we had that great move off of 120, and today we have it off 130. So, I mean, it's going. It's AMD, and it's working. So I would still want to trade this tomorrow. Let's see if we get the same kind of talk, about the positivity in the Nasdaq and some of these chip names. And if we do, then we're going to look right at AMD. Thank you for the rundown. And thank you for voting for all of them names. This is the exact spot. I looked back over lunch. I got out at 74.95 the last time Marvell was up here. And I may do it again. I don't know. Like, we're extended out from the 50 period moving average. Marvell's a name that we bought just before earnings at 64.90. Obviously being up now 15% or so isn't that bad. It's just in my TFSA, which is like a swing account. I just wonder if it's a tax-free savings account. We actually here in Canada, you can deposit, if you haven't done it, up to about $150,000 or $160,000, something like that, into your TFSA account tax-free, and just let these things roll. So that's where I have some Bitcoin and all that kind of stuff. And that's where I have Marvell right now. So if we can get this into $77, $78, something like that, which is maybe tomorrow, that would be another exit for me, and then we'll let the rest ride. I want to play with house money, and we're basically doing that now. So we'll give that a shot. I don't know if we're getting anywhere back, but where my exit would be 62, like in and around where this 50-period moving average is. But if Marvell's going to drop from 75 to 60, you know, the Nasdaq's probably getting hit a little bit as well. So that's what's happening. The SPY right there today, things are starting to pull back just a little bit, but we are now like half a point or less, a percentage point away from all-time highs. I mean, all-time highs on the Qs, we looked at this earlier today, was 541. So today's high is 540.50. So you are basically $1 away from there. Now you're about $2 away here from all-time highs. That's less than like a quarter of a point, percentage point away from all-time highs in this market. So boom goes the dynamite. And I remember, man, this was a couple months ago, back in April, I said the market, I think I was probably the only one on the desk, where I said the market will get back to all-time highs. And look, and we're already there, and it's only June. You know, we still have half of a year to go. Now, will the second half be like the first half? As volatile as it is, the VIX right now at 17, I don't know. But hey, man, I like the fact that we're back here. You never buy enough at the bottom, but we always had faith in this market. And I was just buying ETFs and a little bit of Amazon. Oh, one thing that was surprised, and I told you when you sat back down, someone messaged in the chat, they're like, check out Webull.
Yeah,
like,
but
what?
now look at it.
Yeah, we're still in the money, but yeah, it's down. $11.40 we got up to there on Webull. This is another trade that I like, that I'm in, and we're going to wait to see if this one can go. I don't know what it's doing up 6%.
Oh, I think it's just, I was about to talk about Robinhood, and I think you just got a lump Hood, Webull, SoFi, like all of these things are all up today. But when I want to get to the super chat for JT first, and then we'll talk about the difference. The reason why I was upset about Webull is you can see Robinhood's at the high of the day and Webull is not.
Like
but
$400.
JT gives another $100 just to answer a question. JT, you're too kind. You shorted Circle yesterday from 270s. Thank you for the reminder to wait for the initial flush first before taking the position. Just started closing the trade at 222. I love 22, great number. To 225. It's definitely paying for all the super chats here today. Thank you, congratulations, and great look. I think, look, at the end of the day, a lot of these things. Let's go to Circle. We'll get to those names in a bit. A lot of the time, everyone always wants to try to like hero it and catch the top or the bottom, and sometimes it's just easier to wait for a level to get made, where at least you'll have some liquidity on the way out. And then we sort of discussing. I mean, all I was saying was I was long one of these. I think it was. Which one? It was later in the day where I just like scalped $1 and someone held the crap out of 270. So like there was a breakout happening into 270 and then someone just held 270 like an absolute brick wall a couple times at the close. So you could see that the sellers were starting to gain control, 75 and at 70, as opposed to just Hail Marying it at the top. Sometimes it can be easier to do it that way. So congratulations to you. We already went over Circle. I want to go back over to Robinhood here. And it's nothing against Webull, but like Webull has been bouncing off 10 and breaking 11, like I don't know, like a half a dozen times already. It's just struggling to close at the highs. Robinhood doesn't have that problem. Robinhood is going to close adjacent to, I probably have to pull up here, I'll go to my e-signal chart so you can see Hood we'll go monthly, because that'll probably give you an idea. There we go. Yeah, so it's like 85 something is the all-time high. Now that is, I mean, that's nice. It's gorgeous for Robinhood. I feel as if it's going to be a popular breakout trade when it gets to the 85 level, but we should have a few more days of fun in Robinhood. Didn't trade the hooded one today, but we'll have to rectify that. Got to make a trade. It's above $80. Got to make a trade into this one at some point before we get to the 85 level. No questions asked. And again, it's nothing against Webull. I like the move. I got into it off 10. I'm not going to add to it unless I see a reason. It just keeps selling, especially in the afternoons. Like anytime it gets to 11, there's just been sellers. Anytime it's breaking 11, it's closing underneath 11. So maybe today it bucks that trend. Because how many times are you going to bounce off $10 and not continue? That's my only. It's not a beef. It's just clearly there's stronger names in fintech.
What happened?
Sharif has about 14 eggs in front of him right now, and he just I look over and Sharif's just like, I love my protein. Give me protein and body wax. Right there, this guy
That's a lot of
absolutely
eggs.
killing it. Shout out to Sharif over there.
I mean, at least you know what to get. When the guy has a birthday or whatever, there's no worry about what to get, right? It's simple.
Derek got this man
Get him eggs.
a dozen eggs.
Just get him a dozen eggs.
You know, the only problem is that was like a snack. If you want to get him like a meal, it has to be 20-something plus eggs. Right there, man.
I can't, yeah.
No, man. Yeah,
I love eggs. You can't eat that.
Yeah, that stuff would be dangerous. But I did have an egg this morning. They did come this morning. It was part of it was hard-boiled eggs. Yeah. So shout out to Egg Time. Yeah, that's what we should do. Get him a chicken. I mean, does your building, can you put a
live
chicken? You have like a chicken coop on your balcony, or? New caterer. No. Up. I like the new caterer. I'll give the new caterer.
You gotta like
thumbs
it.
up. I like it. Yeah. There needs to be more burgers. There hasn't been like a pizza. There hasn't really been.
Well, there's no tacos.
There's fajitas, but there's no tacos.
Yeah, but here's
I can get the tacos.
The biggest win for me, why I like new caterer, is the assorted sandwiches every now and then they're just legit, simple, and they work. What do you got? Get your mic on, bro. Get the mic on. Come on now.
Honest with you, I just don't think the beef stroggy is a fan favorite. That's all I have. If I have any complaint, this guy. If I have anything to complain about, it's the beef stroggy, and that's the only thing I'm not a fan of. So
Guys, I'm not eating the yolk. I know you can't hear me.
but yeah, no to the beef stroggy. We'll give the thumbs up to some other things there as well too. So yeah.
Neil,
Just wasting the
I
yolk.
had more hands, so I can give those 4 thumbs down.
Oh.
Neil, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about?
Rick James.
Oh, well, I know the joke, but
I had more hands,
Yeah.
so I can give those 4 thumbs
I did. Full disclosure, I put a donut in the freezer though. I had to. They're the long sprinkles and the colorful ones, so I put one of those in the freezer there.
How many treats did you have from back
That's gonna be my only one.
Live.
On my God, there's no way. How many did you have? Yeah, okay, that's a lie. So there you go.
These guys are degenerates. These
well, I'm not gonna pretend I didn't have a donut.
guys are just straight degenerates.
You know I had a donut.
What is up with these guys?
I
Yeah,
had to.
no.
I had to.
Eggs, donuts, beef stroggy. This guy's calling it.
You're dedicated. Like you went to the gym today. I don't think you didn't have any of the treats.
Of course,
today,
I
did
had
you?
at least half. I have half of a cookie.
Oh, you had something to cook. Okay, that's fine.
No, they're just.
No, I had the donut, not the cookie. So whatever. There was no. It doesn't matter. There was no apple fritter though. That was the only.
Yeah. We gotta rectify that one.
No, it's fine.
All right. Well, back to the show. Yeah, look, man, we don't have a losing trade on today. And it's been, Apple, okay, so Apple was up, then it was down. Like Cardi B, it was up, then it's up, then it's up, then it's down. And there it goes to the downside right there. So Apple would be a small red mark, but barely anything. We have AMD there, which is your trade of the day, sponsored by Trader TV Live. You have Amazon here. That's up $1.50 right now. That's absolutely cruising. We've got Big Bear AI on that $5 break. Let's go. And then we like Big Bear AI for other reasons there. And then we've got Nvidia right now, $1 and change. So yeah, man, it's been a pretty good run so far here today. And just, thank you so much to everybody for continuously watching the show. We have now I'm going to check out how many viewers we actually do have. We got to hit the like button first of all, my guy, right there. Yo, what's up, Donald? How you doing there, my guy? Make America great again. Okay, yeah. So right here, I guess I got to refresh this. This happens to me all the time. I load it up and then it doesn't go live after. How many people do we have watching? Almost 5,200 watching right now. Oh, if I refresh this, we'll get the likes. Let's see how many likes we got. We got to have at least 600 likes. 357. All right, let's get this like. See, there it goes. Here we go. There we go. Get that like button going right now. 394. We'll get a little bit more going on right there. Who's hitting the fail button over there? All right, so there it is. We'll get that going. Please hit your like, hit your subscribe, hit that little bell so it acknowledges when we're live, and join us every single day The only day we weren't here, Juneteenth, last Thursday. I hope everyone
And then, of course,
had a great day. And then
well,
we won't be here July 4th.
yeah, July 4th, and then there's a half day next week for the July 4th holiday, I believe.
July 4th already. Wow.
Yeah, it's like a half day on the 3rd, and which they didn't, I swear they didn't always do this when we started trading. I'm pretty sure it was.
And then it's OB&I next week. You're off.
Yeah, I'm camping. It's going to rain during our camping trip, but that's part of camping life. Hopefully the weather changes
That's
in a
okay.
week.
At least you got a cottage, right? All right.
You know what? Let's be real, man. I love cottages, but yeah, my wife and their family, they've sold me on the whole camping experience, which I find enjoyable. My daughter absolutely loves it, so it's always good to get fresh air, all that kind of good stuff. But let's back to the trade quickly. I took a reversion trade in Bitcoin, IBIT, specifically IBIT, as I think I should, obviously should have had it right in here when it first reverted back in. But when I see it make another higher low, giving it to the prior high, essentially in here, give it to the prior low. If it loses that, I get back into VWAP. The thing I like about Bitcoin is it'll give you these trend trades. I had one like this before. We took it, it stopped under the prior bar, it gave another reversion that got almost back into the high. So you just, I like taking the shot, and then if you get one that goes, try to hold it for that move into the top. But it could be headed back into the volume weighted average price. That's certainly possible. I already mentioned AMD and Nvidia, that Nvidia seems like it's more likely to make a retest back into the volume weighted average price, which is something that I'm looking for on a bit of a dip. The boys are getting excited about something over there. And I know it's not the market because we're just basically hanging out at those highs. So yeah, the only new trade for me is IBIT. I do have eyeballs on Circle, just on the off chance that it does some kind of a parabolic move for a reversion trade, and that could go in either direction. Like if it shoots up, maybe finds resistance at prior support at 245, I think that could be one play, as I'll have that one up on a side burner. Palantir, we jumped out of when it broke trend, but it's actually challenging right back into the highs. Didn't break the high, still hoping we can get a dip buy to jump back in at 142, but that's looking a little bit less likely. There was something else I was going to mention, but it'll come to me in a second. I know it was related, adjacent to Bitcoin, but it wasn't Bitcoin. I'll think of it in a second. It was probably like Coinbase. Might have been Coinbase. Yeah,
Coinbase Coinbase
no, it was
back to 52-week.
No, it was Coinbase breaking out, and the fact that Bitcoin's pulling back and Coinbase is still going 13% up. This one is, the high is essentially. You'll have to do this.
We need
essentially
that,
right here, 353. That could be a wick high. Don't at me if 353 isn't actually the top. But it's around the 350 level. I have to double check to see if that's like a dark pool wick. But we could see that today or tomorrow on a breakout. And it's much stronger overall than what you're seeing in Bitcoin. It's leading it. So was MSTR earlier, but I believe Coinbase is still percentage-wise better than even that.
Yeah, we need an update on that board there, because finally Coinbase back up to all-time highs. One of my picks for this year, not all-time highs, yearly
52-week.
52-week highs right now for Coinbase. So, all right. Yeah, we're getting ready for our interview of the day would be with Mr. Pat LaFontaine. So we are very excited to have him on. And one of my favorite players growing up, watching him play hockey. And of course, Neil and I being over 40 years old.
We're young.
Was playing when we were around and watching hockey. Obviously still watching hockey, but smooth skater, amazing. Played with, I was going to ask him about Alexander McGillney, because he was one of my favorite players as well growing up. And he came over here as a Maple Leaf. Too bad Pat never came through. As a Maple Leaf.
Things might have gone different for us.
Islander great, Sabre great, and I believe last season, I think with the Rangers. But anyways, Pat LaFontaine, really, really excited to have him part of our show. We had Brett Favre on. Now we'll have Pat LaFontaine. We're really excited for that. So that's going to be a good treat. Excited to have a Dara interview very, very shortly. So, all right. Back to regularly scheduled program. You know, Apple, I think at $200 again should be a good little dip buy opportunity into that level there for Apple. If that comes through again, I don't know if this market's going to do anything. Yesterday afternoon, we were basically sidelined the whole afternoon. It was just kind of just waiting for something to happen. Here's yesterday on the Nasdaq. Wow, up another 1.5% today. Amazing when you see these kind of moves, like considering what is going on in the world right now. You know, the move down in oil pretty aggressively, obviously helping the market make this move higher because, you know, the risk asset right now, they're really, what is one? I mean, gold, Bitcoin, everything's kind of moving around, especially with oil coming back down. Money's got to flow somewhere. People are running to the Nasdaq back up to 52 and all-time highs there for the Nasdaq. This is what it did yesterday afternoon. And then there's the gap into today. So we'll wait to see if we can break out right now. And this is what we're doing right here. So I think a top break, right? 540.30. That's the high of the day right now on the Nasdaq. So if we can get through that, which you're pretty close to it right now, we have 540.58. I don't know if that's true or not. It looks like 540.37s or something like that. So we're very, very close right now to a break on the day. Andre, just let me know when we're ready. We can go over there.
Okay, so
we're not ready.
Yeah, we're just you know, a couple of minutes away or shortly away from our guest, which is going to be fantastic. Everyone, and make sure that you stick around. It should be a heck of a lot, informative and fun. Look, I see a lot of people, what's going on with SoFi? NU's been a rocket ship today. If you're in the fintech space and you're not up a bunch today, that's a problem. Because I don't think I've seen a single fintech name that isn't running. I did make a trade I had one breakout trade on SoFi, like I took a 15. It was a weird held level at $15.87, so I went like 88 long. It failed right in front of 16 at like 95 and then came back under. And this was just it was a held offer. So the second it got back underneath that price, it's like take the breakout, but if it's a barcode like that, when it gets back under, just take it out. Now it's doing a similar thing here at $15.95, 94, and 95 is the high of the day. So again, SoFi is doing a similar pattern. I'll probably take a shot at this, just a breakout trade. And I almost want to see like another candle, maybe like 4 on a 3-minute, but take a breakout through the high at 95, literally give it 1 or 2 cents, and just play a continuation trade in SoFi like before, even if it ends up just a scalp trade. All these have been super strong. NU was just asked about, maybe a little bit better. It's got a double top, flying through highs. We showed you Coinbase, we showed you Robinhood. So anybody in the fintech space that isn't having a good day today, file it away as relatively weak and maybe look for some shorts tomorrow. I haven't been able to find anything that would stand out to me. Like, they all look incredibly strong, but SoFi is on my mind because the last time it did this, I just think the only way I would play it differently is just take the bulk out in the initial push when it's a flat bottom and hold a small piece. That way, instead of, you know, like a small loss or a flat trade, like you're almost free rolling if it does even a small push up. I'm going to get my stop order through. If it makes a fresh high, it's a simple punch in on SoFi. Yeah, that rhymed. Who knew?
Yeah. Fintech names. I mean, we talked about Webull being up as well today. And I sold some, actually, JP Morgan. You know, just, again, a disciple of Kramer, really. I've been watching that guy for 20 plus years, and I always steal everything from him about best of breed. I mean, and I always want to buy, you know, so like during this dump right there on JP Morgan right here, and when I saw that come into the 200 period moving average, I mean, I remember, if you're on here, Daryl, if you're still here, we were buying Simon Property Group and JP Morgan hand over fist at like $80 during the COVID time. Now you're at 280. So although there's other stocks getting you much better return, I always feel like if you put your money into some of the best names out there, then you're going to get the best results. And, you know, they're not going to be outstanding. Like SoFi could move 20% tomorrow, you know, on a headline, Robinhood, all those kind of names. But if you're just going to, you know, be able to sleep at night, I think JP Morgan and something else, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs. Actually, Goldman Sachs is another name. I have a small piece of Goldman Sachs. These are the only 2 banks I have besides Canadian exposure. So, and there's what Goldman Sachs looks like. Actually, I didn't even realize how close this was also. I mean, everything is going to be near the highs, right? So Goldman Sachs, again, huge move all the way to the upside. So that's another big one there in your banking sector that you're really, really looking forward to trading more and more here.
Oh, snap, it is there.
For a long term. Okay, and then another play here quickly, Tesla. See this? Not doing anything. I do think that if we could take VWAP here at 345, the price, I think that that's a good one. You know, we've held here, we're holding the 50 period. If that does happen, it means we would have also have held the 200 and the 50 period. So taking that out and then using something like a 244 as you're out, I think that's a play that could play here into the close for us on Tesla. So that would be a long. And then I was thinking about a top break on the market. Yesterday I was trying to go a little short. I can't remember on what name, but didn't work out. So I don't know if I want to fight right here, even though the market's only up 1.5%. I think it's about time to chill. I also got a question on there about, with the markets at all-time highs, what would be 5 tickers that I would hold right now if you could pick one? Well, one of them would be Bitcoin. And someone asked me, what do I hold in my TFSA account? So I hold this Purpose ETF, which is BTCC.B. There's also BTCC, I think .A or whatever for American share.
Yeah, one's currency. And
yeah, and then so I own this one, and then of course I own iBit, which I just, you know, this was one of the, they had a fee holiday, and then I think it's one of the lower fees there.
Oh, it's easily better than Purpose. Easily.
Oh yeah, Purpose is the worst one. And then we also do have, and then forget about all of that. You know, the largest holdings are stuck away somewhere, so we'll leave it at that. So we're gonna wait for that, basically not on exchange anywhere. So that's what we're doing right now. So that would be one play for me for sure, would be iBit. The other one, we've already talked about it. I would pick one of those banks, man. I would pick Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan. And then for me, I just think about things that you do. Like I really think Amazon, this is for newer starting out traders. If you're gonna buy equity, I think Amazon, I like iBit, I like JP Morgan. And then honestly, get yourself into the SPY. Like if you can only have 5 tickers and you have $10,000 and you're gonna go, this is not financial advice, this is just my own personal opinion. What I would do in this situation would be $2,000 in the SPY and then pick 4 other names, Amazon, Bitcoin, JP Morgan, and maybe take a shot at something. I like Nvidia, but you could go with not Walmart. You could go with a Marvell or an AMD or an Nvidia, something in that space, a Broadcom. I would, pick one of those. I own all of those, but that would be what I would do to start off with. And then, yeah, I don't mind a Costco or a Walmart or something like that. I just, Walmart might not even beat the S&P.
If you only have 5 names and you're already picking Amazon, I wouldn't have. Like if you own a huge portfolio of stocks, sometimes it can make sense to have a couple. But if you're picking and choosing, like I own Walmart, I own Amazon. I own a lot more Amazon than I do Walmart, but I've been dip buying Walmart. I like the Qs more than, it doesn't really matter. I like the Qs a little bit more than the SPY, but that didn't always used to be true for me. I used to be a buyer of the SPY. Oh crap, I'm not looking at the SPY or anything. Let me just quickly finish the thought. But no, it's just along the lines, I like buying the indexes first and starting from that, and then have an idea what you're overweight on in the indexes. And if you find, like if you like the Qs and you're overweight tech, then I like having something like an Eli Lilly, something to bounce it out on, or I like Caterpillar is a good name that I like, that I can just feel like pretty secure about in the long term. Mark the Realtor with a super chat that just says Instacart and a couple fire emojis and a couple of rocket ships. Up 3% today. It's good. No questions asked. I don't know if there's a catalyst for Instacart today, but does the market need one today? I'm not completely convinced the market needs anything. Lots of strong stocks. I love what's going on here in the major moving averages because it hasn't respected them on this dip. The 200-period moving average on the stock has been completely, you have to go way back, zoom out to here, and it's like August of last year when it bounced off it and has done nothing but be nonsense right up until this move in May. And now all of a sudden you're bouncing clean. Accumulation at the 200-period moving average and a break of trend on Instacart. That looks pretty good. So there's your slight downward trend. There's your accumulation breaking out today. Maybe you look for some continuation in this play tomorrow. The volume kind of stinks. I don't think you're day trading this one. There's probably a million other things out there. But yeah, you got yourself a good look on Instacart. Still no breakout on that SoFi top. I have my stop. Essentially, it's just the high of the day break. It's holding 94, but I'm breaking out 95 because 95 is the actual high. So we'll see if that one does come in. Yeah, good look on Instacart there, Harmon. Thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. for sure. Spyler asking for thoughts on MU. Bullish. Everyone's been talking about, rightfully so. There's nothing wrong with AMD, Nvidia. They're all fantastic. But Micron's had just as impressive a rally as anybody else in the chip space. And now that it's past this 115, seems like it's on a complete collision course with 135. I think we mentioned this before. But if you were looking at AMD or Nvidia, you probably missed this one today. And I'd argue it wasn't even all that clean. Like if you like to trade off of VWAP, this one never really set up all that greatly off of that level. You had to be looking at 125 for whatever reason, and it was dead clean at the 125 at the open. And then a nice mean reversion trade there for you on Micron. I like the stock. I just didn't find any setups in it. And if we go dip buy hunting today, I'd probably stick with the two that we were trading, Nvidia or Advanced Micro Devices for sure. One of those two would make some sense.
All right, yeah, someone asked for a speculative name. I already said Big Bear AI, or Palantir is actually one of the largest holdings now in my account because we did put on a speculative play with PLTR. You know, we bought this on its direct list down there at $9. I mean, it's 140 right now and going higher, all-time highs actually for Palantir. I thought it was like 144. Or so, but I've been selling some 144.86. So I haven't sold any. Well, I've sold some up here, but not really recently. Just I think in this last move there, I think I got. What did I get? 136 or 137. Those of you that are watching this show, we're gonna let that run now to the highs. I never have as much as I always think I do. Again, but all right. All right, that's Palantir. So that would be maybe a speculative name that you could hold as well. All right, let's see what else is popping off here a little bit. Just going over our e-signal trade rate here. You know, here it is, Tesla. So we already looked at Tesla. Again, for everybody, there it is right there. I was talking about VWAP, so those of you in the chat that were asking me about like what my play was gonna be or what I'd be looking at, I did say that. I liked that play there on VWAP for Tesla. It has to get there. And if it doesn't happen, then yeah, that there's not going to be a trade for me. Got to let it settle down. I mean, remember what this market's been doing? Nothing in the afternoon. I think maybe if you take out the high, then you can really get going. I'm already long everything, man. We've got AMD's $4, Nvidia's going, Amazon is going, but there's Nvidia Tesla run moving up again here today. So that would be something here. Sun run. That looks like it wants to go. This is all by e-signal. So look at that. The trade rate right there picking up on Sun run. Sun run starting to break higher right now. I mean, I like that call coming in for Sunrun. Nice break there. We saw the TAN ETF get going again over the last couple of days. So Sunrun right now doing pretty good for those of you looking at that. That's another name that's upside there. HIMS is there. We talked a little bit about HIMS earlier yesterday. We haven't looked at that today. I thought I did look at it and it was up or down 2% or so there. Now it's up. So HIMS again, nice move. Was up as high as about 2 and a bit percentage points. Looks like it wants to get going as well, HIMS. And look where this is. This could be a good trade actually. Moving forward, right off of those levels right there. Looks like we're trying to bounce off 42.60 or change for HIMS. So that's another play coming in right there for HIMS. So that could be something. What else do we have here? Apple, AMD, Palantir, Circle. 226. Wow, Circle continues its downside play. Definitely missed opportunity breaking that level right there at 244. There's 250. Hearing in my ear right now that Sunrun is getting a pop. We just talked about that.
First Solar as well.
Yeah, all these solar names starting to go a little bit there. Circle, HIMS, SMCI, Intel. So that's what's sort of on the trade right there from eSignal. So yeah, there goes Sunrun. I guess these things are just getting a little bit of a bump. I mean, I'm not hearing any news specifically related to this, but there goes Sunrun going, man. I don't know what the short float is.
There might be a headline here. Rooftop solar credit bill may be changed in the Senate. One Republican has said. So that may be taking them higher. Let's go to Dara, maybe get the update.
I was just going to say here, I'm not seeing anything as of right now for any of these solar names, but lately, everything with regards to solar has had to do, to some extent, as Mila mentioned, with bills. Often the big, beautiful bill, we know that Trump really wants that passed. There are some solar-related issues there, but I am not seeing anything as of right now on any of these solar plays. Of course, if that changes, I will let you guys know right away.
Power hour.
Yeah, and just to know, I read that from one account on X. Like that's what I just saw one account on X say something like that. And sometimes it could be right, it could be wrong. But Adair is certainly correct. Most of the times we're spiking because of the bill. There was also a bit of a headline. I don't think the market cares about the geopolitical stuff. I'm just going to get that out there for a second. But there is a note saying early U.S. intel assessment suggests the strikes in Iran did not destroy nuclear sites, according to unnamed sources. And you also had Netanyahu basically saying any restart to the program, and they would continue to retaliate. So again, I don't know that the market seems to care too much about that because we're going higher, but something's going on with the solar names. I suspect it has something to do with the bill for sure. Now I think we're going back to Adara. Could be another update on those solar names.
So just as you just mentioned this, Neil, so I wanted to address this. Apparently, the White House has told CNN that their assessment on the Iran strikes is, quote, flat out wrong. So it's unclear if they're referring to, I guess, these reports that the strikes did not destroy nuclear sites. It's pretty unclear, but either way, apparently, the White House denying CNN's, quote, flat out wrong assessment of the Iran strike. So again, if I find anything else, I'll let you know, just because you mentioned it, I wanted to provide that follow-up. I just got in. Still nothing on solar. Back to you.
I heard that about Iran there. I think that unnamed sources, now CNN, but, what a surprise there. Saying stuff like that, but we'll wait to see if that's true. I mean,
well, it's either true or it's not. Yeah, exactly. Who knows? The market doesn't seem to care. Right, we just broke through the highs. Ultimately, the market's breaking through the highs. If it were true, maybe it would mean, what would the negative story be there? That they have to go strike again, and then you get more retaliation. Well, the market's saying, who cares, by breaking out the top, for sure. So it doesn't really matter. Trust me, bro. Someone says they missed. Yeah, I don't see even oil's not moving on that. The market's not falling on that. SoFi's still trying very slowly to break out. Evan Campbell says irrational exuberance. Well, there's certainly exuberance on those solar names. I'm going to go ahead and say that, Enphase, whether it's Sunrun, First Solar, Enphase might be doing the most volume, at least from what I can see, rallying on this. If there was more clear of a story, I'd be more inclined to join this. But just try to remember what these charts look like. Everyone's been trying to pick up, lots of people, I shouldn't say everyone, lots of people have been trying to pick bottoms on the solar names for a very, very long time. And what the hedge funds have been doing, clearly, is just selling at the 50-period moving average and waiting for everybody to get exuberant here, and then just sell it off when it gets to the 50-period. So none of this gets exciting so you can close above that 50-period moving average. But I do believe we are locked and loaded and ready to go. We've got our special guest of the afternoon, so let's send it back up to the desk with Adara.
Take a moment here to thank our new special guest here from OGen. We have Dr. James Kelly, who is the medical chief officer at Oragenics, Inc., and special guest as well here, Pat LaFontaine, an NHL Hall of Famer. Thank you guys so much for being here. How are you guys doing today?
Great. Good to be with you.
Doing great, thanks.
Well, we'll start here with Dr. Kelly. So for our audience, many of whom are traders and investors, how could you break down, I guess, what Oragenics is working on and why this is so important right now in this moment?
So Oragenics has a novel powder form of a neurosteroid that is a nasal application, actually then is drawn up through the nasal passages, through the blood supply, right into the brain. And so in very small doses, it actually quickly acts on a concussion in an emergency room, let's say, or some other setting. And so right now we're in clinical trials to move that forward. The science that we see in animal studies and in preclinical studies all show that it's safe and it ought to be a very effective new idea, a new treatment that we don't have. There is no such thing as a treatment that's FDA approved for concussion. And so this is an exciting time where we have a novel neurosteroid that's synthetic and can actually be quickly disseminated across lots of different settings and used quickly at the time a concussion occurs. And we're really excited about it.
It sounds like really important, I guess, strides forward there. Now, for you, Pat, you are a Hall of Famer with the NHL, as mentioned, but you're also someone who had to walk away from the game because of this issue. So with that in mind, what made you want to get behind this company?
Well, first of all, Dr. James Kelly, I'll call him Jim because he's a dear friend of 25 years. He was the neurologist that I saw during my playing career. that cleared me to play, and then told me that it was time to hang up the skates, which was a smart move. And knowing what it's like to go through concussions, post-concussion syndrome, I had 7 documented concussions and probably another 5 or so that we didn't document. We didn't even count them when you had a kind of a ding, we call them. You saw stars. That's actually considered a concussion also now. To have something like ONP002 from Oragenics would have been a game changer for me during my career. I went through post-concussion syndrome twice, 6 months. First time, deep depression, went through a lot of difficult symptoms that you can go through. And knowing that there has been advancements and knowing that Dr. Kelly's behind this and Oragenics gives me great confidence in it, and really a game changer for the future in concussion management and treatment.
Well, thank you so much for telling us a little bit there about the backstory between the two of you. Now, to send things back to Dr. Kelly here, there's no shortage of biotech names out there. So what makes Oragenics science stand out, and why is this the time?
So there is no such medication now that's even in trials that is similar to what this is about. And so this will be a first-in-class drug treatment, a pharmacological treatment that actually directly impacts the root cause of the injury itself in concussion. I can treat symptoms, and doctors have ways of doing that kind of thing after a concussion actually causes all the trouble it causes. But we have time at the very start of a concussion to intervene and settle down the inflammation and the cellular changes in the nerve cells called oxidative stress, and a whole series of cascading changes that occur over minutes, hours, and even days. And if we can nip that in the bud and reduce that, we can actually solve a big problem and make people like Pat, with his experience, much better, much more quickly.
Yeah, thank you for going over that. It sounds like a game changer for sure. Now, for both of you, I guess I'm wondering, in 18 months' time, what do you guys view as success in your eyes for Oragenics? Pat, I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, to have it in the industry, to have it into the professional areas of sports, and I played hockey, obviously, football, to have it into the youth and the minor leagues of sports and the youth sports, to be able to have a treatment like Oragenics early on to minimize the damage, as Dr. Kelly was able to articulate in a language that he only speaks, but in layman's terms, really to take the swelling down, to minimize the damage that can happen from concussion. There's nothing out there like this now. And so to have his name, his reputation, he really started the protocols back in for concussions back in the late 80s. And so he's kind of he doesn't probably like to hear this, but the godfather of concussions, and he's been behind this. And I've known him over 25 years. And to have him involved and to have Oragenics involved, this is the first of its kind and will be a game changer.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your perspective about that. Dr. Kelly, what about you? What are you looking for the company in, you say, a year and a half?
So the important stages now are the clinical trials that we are embarking on at the present time that are what we call feasibility studies. And once we know that this can be done in the fashion that we're quite certain without the science behind it at this point in time, once we know we can actually accomplish this in an emergency room setting, we will then do a bigger study to make sure we can show that this actually is effective. And so within the time frame that you offered of a year and a half, we will be well on our way into those additional stage clinical trials showing the benefit of this medication in the United States and perhaps other countries as well.
Thank you so much for going over that. Thanks again to our guests from Oragenics, Dr. Kelly and Pat LaFontaine. Thank you guys for being here for us and for your insightful answers today.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you to both Dr. Kelly and NHL Hall of Famer Pat LaFontaine. Important work. It's like look, man, we tout stocks all the time, or you own this stock, or you believe in this company, and somebody might like Tesla, might not like Tesla. Maybe you like Amazon, maybe you don't like Amazon. But if you don't like the fact that someone is going to be trying to battle a problem, which almost everybody, if you've ever played a sport, then you've probably dealt with it at some point. And look, it happens. You could be in a car crash. There's all kinds of issues that you might have, and the symptoms can be, it can suck. And let's be real. I think it'd be a game changer, especially college sports, professional sports, obviously. So shout out to the team at Oragenics. Obviously, wish them the best of luck. Like easy to root for.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy to root for. Like it's like if you're not rooting for it, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, great. Thanks, guys, for coming on again. And yeah, changing the game, right? And giving, again, bringing, sports are fun, but can be dangerous. Doesn't matter, 100%. You know, hockey, like I said, we had Brett Favre for football. That's another big one as well. I saw, even in the NBA, you know, banging heads or something like that. Yeah, it's funny because you mentioned seeing those stars. I mean, how many of us have, you know, maybe seen those in the past? Joe talks about some concussions as well. So, yeah, look, doing great. And we hope for the best on all of that. And thank you, Oragenics. And, you know, welcome to come back anytime to discuss anything like that, any new developments. We'd love to get it through. All right, that's all-time highs right there. The Nasdaq just busted it out right there. There go the QQQs, man. As far as I was looking at that, we looked at this earlier on the triple Qs. Where did we go? We were at the lows, 52-week lows right there at 402 just a couple minutes ago back in April. And then boom, there's the high right now getting taken out. I have aftermarket 480.81, but I think if we close around here, that will be brand new all-time closing highs. We had 540.70. So look, man, this could be considered potentially a triple top. I mean, we had been here before, we had been here right there. So 1, 2, 3. If you are nervous about your positions in the market, I wouldn't be, but right now it is looking like, again, another nice move here for the Nasdaq. We'll see how continued this will be, but there it goes right there. Thank you, Nasdaq, for that move. And thank everybody who bought when Donald Trump said to buy, which was this big candle. Even if you didn't have it right at the beginning, you might have had it somewhere in the middle, right there, 442 up to 540 right there. Nice movement from that top back down in and now all the way back to the highs. And that includes the SPY as well, as most major markets worldwide are near or at all-time highs. So definitely something coming there. I think IWM, if you're going to play any indexes or something like that, especially with the NASDAQ recent highs here, and then you also have the chance for rate cut season to be back upon us. I mean, it seems like the next moves are cuts. This has really lagged, right? I mean, the IWM is not even over, guys, the 50-period moving average yet. So, or sorry, the 200-period moving average, which is this green line. So, you know, for me, I think there's a lot of value coming up here with IWM, especially on that break. So I would say look there. If you're looking somewhere right now for some value, you know, underappreciated right now, the IWM. And if rate cut season is upon us, then boom goes the dynamite. But it's been the MAGs, right? Like there's a MAG 7 ETF. I think it is MAGS.
It is just MAGs.
Yeah, Magnificent 7 ETF right there. And so you could see what's sort of been leading the way as we come back up to the high side. But what is in the MAG 7? It still is Tesla, right? So, you know, that's still off of its highs. Apple, obviously, well off of its highs as well. So carrying the day in the MAG 7, the Microsofts of this world. And then Meta's been like portfolio changing.
I love Meta.
This has been an absolutely huge. Again, this was another name that at $100, it was an all-you-can-eat buffet down there. Now you're at $700 now. Like nothing's even changed. Like Meta just continues to be the #1 app. Billions of users, daily active users, billions of daily active users. So, you know, we really like that play as well. I did sell some. I didn't sell some. I rearranged some portfolios a little bit there today out of some SPY and into some more NASDAQ. So, but anyways, might have to step into some IWM as well. But Google's another name that's well off its highs. Forgot about that one. So the MAG 7's actually...
This isn't a MAG 7 name, but maybe it should be. Broadcom... we could make a bunch of arguments. I only mentioned Broadcom in that vein because it's one of the biggest in the index. Like you own a lot of, if you own the Nasdaq, you own a bunch of Broadcom. So that's just how it is. So pretty much everyone likely has this in their portfolio. But there's always a but, isn't there? Today, it's weird, like pulling back off the highs. Like I'm a little surprised by this. When I looked at, we're at the top. Okay, well, what are the biggest names in the index doing? When I was scanning through them, Broadcom had already pulled back off the highs and is not joining this move. Apple, maybe in a little bit of a different category, not pulling back into highs, but pulling back from its high of the day and still unable to get past 205. This needs to break 202, if not 202.5. I'm just looking at where the weakness might be. Like if we start to fall back in here, it's 315 already. There might be like one shot for a reversion if we do get some kind of like an all-time high fail break. And I was looking at some names that have already come back off of the highs that are relatively weak. And if I'm picking between the two, Apple looks a little weaker than Broadcom. Obviously, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I want to see it fail VWAP here first. It hasn't really done so. But if it holds under VWAP, I think Apple might be a nice little retracement short. If the market keeps blowing it out, at least this is one of the few stocks that gives you some cover that isn't the high of the day. Adara?
Yeah, just wanted to let you guys know we have our new daily infographic here for June 25th, 2025 events to watch out for. Micron earnings. Speaking of these semiconductors coming through after the close, 4 p.m. Eastern. You can check that out with Neil and myself on the Market Recap Show. But also, I want to let you guys know, Nvidia hosting its annual meeting of stockholders tomorrow. So usually these annual meetings aren't super eventful for the market unless we're expecting a proxy vote or something of import. But either way, Nvidia hosting its annual shareholder meeting tomorrow. We also have day 2 of testimony from Fed Chair Powell. I post these every single day on X at TTV Research around 3 p.m. So you can check out these updates for the following day, the evening before. Again, X at TTV Research. Check us out. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. Micron, like all chip stocks, has been incredibly strong. Let's see if they can hold up during earnings. It's always a very cyclical name. So when the market is trending, Micron is generally going to trend with it. It's not usually something that'll do it on its own. I have to check to see what the implied move is going to be. But I think the trouble with Micron, obviously I was just looking at Apple to see if we actually get that fail under VWAP, that second 3-minute candle. If it does, I want to try to jump in. But with Micron, it's got an obvious spot. I don't know what the expected move might be, but I wouldn't be surprised if we end up tomorrow like 138 being the top. Sometimes you have it just stay far enough away that the resistance ends up being where they're pricing in the move to. And that's an obvious spot there at about 138 bucks on Micron. I just heard there's a halt to the downside on a stock I don't know. So the market's breaking higher. I don't know if we're going to get this on Apple. FTRK just halted now to the downside. What is this thing?
What is FTRK?
Well, it's screwed is what it is. Yeah, that's not good. But it's done a lot of volume. This just happened. FTRK halted down 21%. And that tap, I mean, seriously? FTRK, that obviously the tap is incorrect. It was a second ago, it was showing 50 cents as a block price. Now it's showing $3 when it's halted at 496. Yikes. What is this, some kind of they must have a bad drug study or something? Fast Track Group? I mean, I'm speculating what it might be. It's some kind of phase 2. Yeah, some study didn't go well. Yikes. So we'll keep an eye on this one, but hopefully no one's in it. Thankfully, it wasn't doing anything before, so it's not like it was in play and anyone would be long this from earlier. Not looking very good for FTRK. Oh no, Palantir's gone. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Palantir. I trailed out of it and I never got back in. No, Palantir. Well, it's going to get to the all-time high. It's just a matter of when. There's still time that it could do one more dip and then go dip and rip in Palantir. You've seen it make power moves in Power Hour, for lack of a better word. Still $1.50 till you get to the high. So the first red candle, look for a consolidation or a pullback, and whatever it might be, like anything that looks like this off a high. Maybe it does one of these after breaking a high, pull back into a support level. Prior highs 143.20. So I can't predict where it's going to top out, but I'm going to buy the first available dip to get back into Palantir. Only really had it a couple times, and those were breakout trades. I want to see if we can get the dip buy here first. So, but Palantir is super strong. The market's at all-time highs. There's some relative weakness in Apple, but if the market doesn't slow down, I don't know if that's going to really set up.
I was thinking, like, I know Apple, I was thinking about a catalyst for Apple. That F1 movie, I mean, Apple's already won awards for some of their movies. I can't remember the one that they had won for before. Apple, but anyways, right there, they have a big movie coming out there with Brad Pitt. So I was just thinking that could be something, right, coming through. So right there, you have 195. I don't think that moves the needle. I mean, no one's looking at Apple for that. But yeah, so all right, Webull trying to get back up to the upside as well. We'll see what winds up happening. That's 1130, 1140 right now, trying to break out. I think if we can get that break late in the day, up 8%, might be worth taking. It's 3:20 right now. We are into Power Hour. You can join Adara and myself tonight for the recap show where there isn't much going on. I don't think there's maybe BlackBerry, I think, tonight.
Oh, that's who it is.
Yeah, I'm not even sure who
That's
reports.
who it is.
Really. Let's have a quick look at DJT. Just have a quick little look here to see what Donald J. Trump's Media Acquisition Corp, otherwise known as, I guess, Truth Social, right there. Are there going to be any truths reported today? There probably has been. And there it is right there. You're at, again, right at a great level for scalping. I mean, you're here at the low of the day. Looks like it wants to break lower, to be honest with you. I mean, there's the 50-period moving average, really riding it down. The last couple times we made this move, we weren't riding anything. We were just kind of extending our loss back into the downside. So there it goes, breaking through $18 right now. TJ there, but yeah, so what is the bottom here anyways? 17, 16, 1650 or so. So if you're looking at names and you're thinking again, like, can we get something like this again? Well, I mean, right into there, it's only spent a few days underneath, right? And so when I talk like that, what I mean is I'm looking here and saying, how long have we spent underneath like this $16 mark? Well, you got to go back into here. It's about a week. So maybe there is something to look out for here if you can get down into $16 and then play off that low of $12.50 or so on DJT. Adara was something.
Okay, I have the official solar story here, and it's kind of what we had Neil alluding to. So yeah, there were comments here from a GOP or Republican senator here, Kevin Cramer, saying that Republicans are discussing possible changes to the provision in Trump's spending bill or the one big beautiful bill that would phase out these rooftop solar tax credits. They're saying that there's a bit of work being done on rooftop solar. These stocks are pushing higher on this, but yeah, that's Bloomberg reporting that Kevin Cramer told reporters that apparently Republicans are talking about some possible changes to solar-related provisions in the big beautiful bill. Also, with regards to comments on Trump maybe truthing right now, he actually just posted a truth 2 minutes ago. It's a video of him arriving in Netherlands for NATO. So if you're wondering if Trump posted on truth, he certainly has. Back to you.
I was just mentioning, Sean, like when I was in Europe, you noticed that they have a lot of solar panels there. But the crazier thing is just how many wind turbines I saw when we drove from Budapest to Vienna. It was insane. I've never seen that many in my life. They're a little bit more hardcore with it, but you know, I don't know. I cut both ways when it comes to subsidies for things like that, because there's something to be said about being successful without them and driving to be successful in a more organic way. That being said, they have their place. So I don't want to get too political about it. Apple just lost VWAP in here. Don't at me, anybody out there. I'm not against subsidies altogether.
Nobody's adding you for that.
No, I just think you have to pick your spots. I think sometimes they can do a little bit of harm to an industry because then you don't necessarily get the type of innovation that you need. That's the best way to put it. So Apple just lost the volume weighted average price, which was right here at, well, I have an order there. It's like 201.85, did a wick above, put the stop at 92 because that wick is 91, and then took the short under here at 76 and a half. I tried to get more, didn't. We'll play the range bound on Apple. Like the bottom here is like 21.4. If the market, I want to play it this way. If the market doesn't turn, which right now I'm not seeing a ton of weakness, we still have all these green candles, then I'm out in front of the bid. If it does start turning, then I look to try to add somewhere under VWAP and cancel and try to let it ride into the downside. So Apple, new position here. We'll see what happens. It's just I wanted to find something relatively strong. And if we end up getting a weak, I should say. And if we end up getting a reversal, then I just think it works a little bit better than fighting something which has been trending up all day long. The other thing that Apple's got going for it for potential continuation short is right here. I just realized this. I shouldn't be bidding. 201.50 is where we closed yesterday. Like this threatens to go red on a breakdown of this area. So I think that actually makes it more appealing of a hold, because if the Nasdaq just made an all-time high, if it rejects it, like anything that's going to be going red to me, I think you get some extra selling in there. So like Apple's the only thing I would look for the short. I mean, almost everything else I'm looking at. Like Palantir just broke the highs. I don't know, pretty much everything Sean is holding, I'm assuming, is breaking the highs. I saw AMD break the high. Nvidia hasn't broken the high. Circle, by the way, just made another fresh low through 220. But I wouldn't punch short on a breakdown of this stock. You know, I was waiting for, I said earlier I'd look for a VWAP short. Clearly that's not going to happen at this point unless it rallies 10% to the upside. So I was looking for something that I could make a little technical trade off VWAP. Apple happened to be it. Circle's still falling. I think you're just going to have to wait this one out for a day or two for all the Circle bulls out there. Just let it simmer. CoreWeave did this, and CoreWeave bounced nicely and made a fresh high. So it's not impossible that you can still have a bull run after the last couple of days. It seems bad down $80 in 2 sessions, but you got to put it into perspective where it's come from. It's not that bad when you look at the daily chart. I mean, yeah, it looks kind of bad, but this could be at
Not really.
I know, but like you could be at 150, and that's literally, 166 is the prior high, consolidative high. 166. Like that's literally pulling back into the prior breakout high, is another $56 from here. That's nuts.
Right, seems like it's reasonable.
Yeah, like that's actually reasonable that it could pull back another $50 before going long again.
Yeah, I think Circle's real home is 120. So I think it pulls back another $100.
That's the longest consolidation I had.
It might be lower than that. Circle's a squeeze play. I mean, we don't even know their numbers, so I don't know.
Oh yeah, it's. Well, I felt more skeptical about CoreWeave because we knew something about their numbers.
Right.
So you could see with CoreWeave, oh really, $1 billion of revenue and $23 billion in capex. Like that was like I knew that sounded whack, but with Circle I have no idea.
I think Circle, the problem with the reason why CoreWeave we could know about it because we know their customers, and we know that Circle is the USDC coin, and just right now stable coins are just so popular and all the rage. So that means that's probably thinking about anyways, maybe a downside play at some point there for Circle. It's just been so gone. And again, congratulations.
Oh my goodness.
Anybody, like I said, Jim Cramer was pounding the table on a buy at CoreWeave, I think $40 to $50 there. So that's a 4-bagger. Like, there's only so much upside in a lot of these names. But I just got out some more Amazon. Look, man, I mean, this is still $1.50 in the money, but we're having a hard time. Right now it's 330. We're having a hard time getting above right into here 314. So, we got some out on the way back up. We got some out on the way back down. So we're just starting to piece out of everything. Big Bear AI is actually starting to make me question life. No, not life. Question this trade again there because it's, again, not really doing anything. So we'll take a piece out on Big Bear AI again right there. Okay, well, we offer and we get it almost immediately as we use a free gateway. And we were talking about this the other day at the bar when we were all there, and I was talking with some of the newer traders that were there, and I was talking about like maker taker and all that. And a lot of guys don't really understand some of the rebate structures and whatnot, but we hear the fact that we're on prop floor here at Real Trading. Oh yeah, by the way, let's go over what the numbers are. I'm going to call it up. I have no idea what they are. I'm going to call up the numbers from yesterday. Talk about them, but you can offer liquidity in the market, right? And I think that's a popular thing that some traders do, and you can just get filled. Like if you offer 13 on certain gateways, then you'll get paid about $2 per 1,000 shares, and roughly back and forth. And then there's other gateways that you can offer, like an EAB there, that will charge you a similar amount, but you'll get filled first. So it's about the liquidity, and if you need it, like on a stock that's ripping like a Tesla or something like that, you're not going to necessarily need to worry, because if you're offering 05, there it goes, it gets taken. You're better off using a Nasdaq or an ARCA that's just going to fill you with the rebate, right? But most gateways, if you're trading a slower stock like a Big Bear AI, you don't really care to pay $1, for your 1,000 share fill, because if you get filled at 13 and it's 1,000 shares, that's $10, right? I'm just saying the penny is $10 on 1,000 shares. So like right there, see if you missed that 13, now you're waiting for 12s and maybe having to punch out 11. So to give up $1 right there because you're waiting on the wrong gateway is fool's gold. So you don't want to do that. You want to be on a paying gateway, so like a BYX or an EAB or something like that. But again, talk to your trading floor development team here at Real Trading, and they'll tell you. Or if you're with Trade the Pool or some other prop firm that I have no idea how their fee structure works or anything like that, ask them.
Yeah, they're all different.
About rebates.
We know how it works here, but not all firms allow you to earn those rebates. Everybody, that's important. I know we talked about it a lot. And the other good thing about active trading is now the SEC fees are zero. So for active traders here at Real Trading, like the more when you get in and out, they take the sell side for the SEC fee, and right now it's at zero, which is fantastic. It's before, I know you're going to show the numbers here. That FRTK halted down a couple more times. The current tap is now $1.50. It's just, this thing just keeps on falling here. So I wouldn't try to catch the falling knife on this. That said, if it does actually get to $1 and there's like a gigantic bid, maybe it's worth a shot, but this continues to fall like a rock on Fast Track Group. I still haven't seen anything but the halts. I just keep seeing all the news. The only stories I see is halted down on a circuit breaker. I just presume that it had something to do with the drug, but I haven't actually been able to read that story anywhere.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't know what they do.
I mean, Fast Track. I mean, we can look it up. I mean, Adair's probably all over that as well. So we'll get that to you guys right away. But here's who's making the money yesterday, and this is real money. Other sites, I don't know if they're showing you sim money or not. I have no idea. But here at Real Trading, these are all US dollars. These are the top. And it hasn't been that great over the last little while. I mean, my phone is just blowing up right now. All right, 14.7 right there yesterday. Look at this. This trader, would you take a look at that? Traded everything yesterday. Some oil, some futures, New York, and Nasdaq. Amex, New York, Nasdaq there. Canada's involved as well. Amex through there. There we go. There's Blue Ocean. That's a nice day for Blue Ocean right there. So that's the after hours trading. Canada, Nasdaq, Canada, Amex, Nasdaq. And again, these are just the different markets that they traded, right? Not where they're located or anything like that. And of course, if you are interested, go to realtrading.com. And I've been here for very, very long time. And obviously we talk about what we read is all those other things that we read are ads. What I'm telling you about Real Trading is never missed a pay, never missed anything. The communications are out like every day. There's live support, live chat, everything you need at your fingertips, plus over 60 markets that you can trade. Anything.
And always adding more.
24/7.
And always adding more.
Yeah, always, literally adding all of the new markets. We talked about Moon, ATS.
Yesterday, Mexico, somebody made like 5.
Yeah, we showed that yesterday. Yeah, so people
like the Mexican market. We just recently got that. I've never looked at it. I've never traded it. And the other thing to consider too, and maybe it matters to some people. I think it matters a lot. A firm that stays ahead of the game. That comes with not just regulation and adding markets, but across the board. And the platform is made for traders by traders. Like if there's a request, if you like something you want to feature, you put a simple request in there, and then the team will once a month they meet for little things. It could be bracket orders that get added when they weren't there before. Click to trade, which some people wanted. I don't use it, but people wanted to be able to click on their level 2 and click on charts, and now you can trade, being able to do that on the platform. But it's one of those things like if you don't, and for anyone at Real Trading, if you don't put tickets into request things, they don't happen. It's like one of my biggest beefs. It's like all you got to do is put a ticket in, everybody, if you want a feature. So Apple, I'm going to show you what happened on the Nasdaq, because I told you if we caught a bid, any kind of a bid, that I would get out at support, and if we were breaking down, I would hold. So caught bid, got out at first support. Just a simple scalp trade with about 30 minutes to go. The next thing, I might take the same trade again if we come back into VWAP and just try to rinse and repeat it if that's going to be the case. But I also wanted to get a quick look at the early look imbalance locator, which has, there's Archer again. So Ford, 4.4 million. Do we care about, GM's there too, 1.9 million. Maybe that's not a coincidence. Ford tends to pair off. I don't think we care about that. But Archer, that's a name. 1.9 million early look to buy. I don't really see anything else that piques my interest. QBTS, 1.3 million for the buy side as well. BBAI is $1 million. This was $1 million yesterday as well. BBAI. I think it paired off if memory served, but $1 million on those three names. But Archer Aviation is the biggest of those three. There might be something happening on the. I'm going to double check if there's something going on with Archer. It's not moving yet, but this has had a pretty good run today, up 7 points. Be nice if you got some kind of a rally, play into the high, comes out supposed to be a buy or just reverses at 355 and you play that mean reversion. The fact that it's not moving with an early look that big probably means that it's likely to pair off. So I wouldn't do anything with it yet, but I'll have Archer on watch at 350 for sure if it remains one of the biggest ones out there. Like Pfizer's there all the time. Pfizer's so ridiculously liquid. If it ain't 10 million, then who cares? And when 350 hits, then you'll see all the Nasdaq names that everyone's always interested in. Nvidia, Apple potentially. You never really know. Amazon might have an imbalance, but it's Nvidia that usually has the biggest one. Archer, it piques my interest. And if we get a reload on Apple, it's going to have to be before those imbalances come out. Like I wouldn't want to take the offer at VWAP if it's like 347, like right before the imbalances. Another place where you can find the locator actually we're going to be talking about.
Would that be eSignal? Because if it was, you can scan that QR code right there, right now. Get involved with eSignal. It is 1 month free. We want to thank eSignal and ICE for coming through and dropping off all those donuts earlier as well today. Shout out to Mr. Mark O'Keefe. But traders, listen up. Your first month is free. We're waiving those fees, man. Trade smarter, not harder. Use every feature they have. We just talked about all the markets that we have here at Real Trading. You can entitle yourself to those and many more with the wide array of tools and all of their entitlement-based subscriptions over at eSignal. Backtesting reliable, real-time data, global markets, all at your fingertips in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades ASAP with eSignal. It's 1 month free, and all you have to do is scan that wonderful QR code that you see on your screen now. So get that going, scan it, get going with eSignal, and I'm certain you'll be happy with it. And if not, you can cancel immediately. You can also look up Surf Air Mobility. Thank you to Tisha and everybody in the chat that's talking about SRFM right now. Wow, what a move. 64 million shares as there it goes right there back up to the upside. SFRM. It just, again, you always want to zoom out, right? I mean, right looking into here again, you're not, I don't know, man. I'm on Big Bear AI. It's been great. I've really done quite well on some of the major, sort of players as far as these low float runners, when they're hitting, especially off in the AM. But I always think it's important to look back and say, what levels are we talking about here? And I think we got pretty close. That 450 came. So if you were waiting for like 5, tisk, but you want to take some profits when you see this kind of stuff happening anyways, at least I do. So, make sure that you do watch out for these plays. SFRM is another one, and it looks like SRFM, sorry, and it looks like it's going right back there to the upside. A thing that I can always check would be into here. SRFM, there it is, Surf Air Mobility. Let me just see what the share float is. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty low right there. 14 million share float. 5% short. It's, this is one of those names, again, that looks like it's primed to do some running around SFR.
Did you say the story here?
No, what is the story?
It looks like Palantir acquired over 1 million shares.
Ooh.
Sorry, check that.
Palantir.
Correction. 10% owner Palantir acquires over 1 million shares. So it looks like they already own shares. They bought more.
Okay.
Based on that headline. So yeah, that sounds... that sounds pretty good for that stock. And remember, like when we saw this with the Nvidia effect, like when Nvidia was all the rage, all you had to do was say some kind of a partnership or Nvidia owns a stake or whatever, and like such and such small cap would go ham. And maybe this is the new thing in here, like Palantir getting some deals. Whoops! And then I accidentally called up Palantir instead.
It worked.
No, but I meant to call Surface Air Mobility.
No, I was just saying, like, that's maybe drawing attention to Palantir again. I don't know.
I have that problem. Whatever I'm saying is what I end up typing into my level 2. So it looks like, the thing is, it's already so far high, so far to the upside, and with only 10 minutes to go, the imbalances, unless I'm going back into Apple for scalp trade, which doesn't look like it's going to happen, I'd stay away. And you're at the bag hold zone where you'd expect some selling on this move to happen on this stock. Just one thing, that FTRK, it doesn't really look like it's being able to hold. It's like they didn't open this one back up after the last halt, but the tap isn't as bad. It's now $2. This could be one of the, if it gets to $1, this could be epic tomorrow if this goes into penny stock status. But let's go to Adara.
Some more context here for SRFM or Surfair Mobility. So Palantir already owned a decent amount of shares that just added to their position here. So apparently purchasing just over 1 million shares. That was valued at just over $2.1 million purchase. But here's the thing. So now they own over almost 4.5 million shares. So they added an additional 1 million shares, but by no means this is their first involvement. And this purchase is apparently part of a commercial arrangement between the companies. It's also worth noting here, yes, they are a 10% owner in Surfair Mobility, but yeah, these were actually purchased, apparently, these new shares on June 18th, 2025. So as always, we get these notices here coming after the actual purchase. A little bit more context here. This is not PLTR's first rodeo as far as SRFM is concerned. Back to you.
Yeah, and that's definitely a good observation. I saw people mentioning Archer Aviation has already had a deal with a part. I don't know if there's any ownership, but from what I was looking at, Archer, it looks like it has a partnership going on with Palantir. They've been getting a good rally. Yeah, I guess maybe we shouldn't have got out of Apple. Apple, with the market not breaking support, the market bounced off support, and Apple just broke down. So that's headed to the lows. It is now red on the day. One of the few names that is going to be red in the Mag 7 is going to be Apple. The good news for Apple, well, okay, the good news for Apple is it's above 200. But this also, it can't hold this 50 period on the daily. I just think that that's what's next. If it can hold that 50 period and break away from 205, then it gets a little bit better. Underneath $200 on Apple, you're waiting for 195. We had a bunch of people say that in the chat. It wasn't even me. I'm not a buyer of this stock down here. I don't really like Apple that much now until it breaks this downward trend. But yeah, really just put on an Apple short. SoFi, I canceled the SoFi breakout because SoFi is not, it's not breaking the high. It double topped. It effectively triple topped, and now there's only 7 minutes to go left in the day. So I don't think we get the top break on SoFi. That could be something we look at tomorrow, provided it's still here. I don't know. It could gap above or below, so I don't want to say I'm taking a break on SoFi for sure, because this stock could gap to 16.5, or it could be at $15, and then all of a sudden there's absolutely no trade for us. But all the fintech names have been strong, just kind of lacking some continuation here for the one I wanted to break out.
I'm just gonna punch out of everything right now. There's not much, we're close to the highs in our account here, so I'm just gonna get out of it all. BBAI is now starting to go again, so let's go. Let's spin the money train one more time here for Big Bear AI. Again, top stock here, trading today for the floor, so good move there for Big Bear AI. Not sure if it was Sharif's number one. It's not going to be my number one stock, but it's going to be a stock that we like to trade, and definitely moving up the leaderboard, Big Bear AI. But we just missed that 18 fill. See what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you need to catch those little fills there that can make a difference. And Big Bear AI, I mean, I'm at 17 and 18 right now. Hopefully we can get that. Maybe I should be at 16. But look at the market. We said that we were waiting for it to do something. It's still not really. We get right back into all-time highs again. We sort of talked about that. And then now falling off of that spot again. I mean, we're back into earnings season now with Micron coming. Join both Brian Shannon, myself, and Adara at the after show, the recap show, where we'll talk about, I think it was just BlackBerry, right? Coming. Oh, and FTX?
Oh, FedEx.
Oh, FDX, not FTX. FTX, yeah. We did have Sam Bankman-Fried on our show right before he went into jail. So that was probably our best. That was probably like our biggest name interview of all time.
It's
hard
to argue with that. Well, we did. I mean, for
we had
Rogue Trader. If you're old enough, Nick Leeson is at the time he was like that. He was that big of a thing in terms of. He was never even close to Sam Bankman. No. I'm saying in his own time, nobody cares about Barings Bank. But at the time, back then, it was a huge deal, and obviously a big deal for like regulations. But it's not the same thing as a crypto. So like for myself, because I love Rogue Trader as a movie, like that was a big deal for me. I've watched that like 5 times, and it's a good watch, everybody, if you've never seen Rogue Trader. But Yeah, FedEx.
So we did.
Rest in peace.
Go ahead. Yeah,
their founder, the FedEx founder, rest in peace. And there's always the one story. Yeah, he passed away over the weekend.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And of course, that's the story where early on they were going to go bankrupt, and he took like a few grand to Vegas. And I don't know the exact amount, but I guess he won a bunch of money at Vegas, and they were able to sort of meet their next month's obligations, and that was it. They were up from there. That's balls. Maybe not the best way to go about business, but I guess if your back is against the wall, it makes for an interesting story. I didn't realize FedEx was reporting. That could be. It's more of a bellwether stock than a trading stock, though.
Yeah. So again, join us tonight. We'll talk about all of that with Brian Shannon. Again, your educator of the year on StockTwits, Brian Shannon. And I actually talked to him about Big Bear AI. Oh, there it is. We did. So I have too many offers out. So that's coding as a short. All my offers are coding as short sells, but they're not. I'm just getting out of them all. So they're not short sells at all. Right there as we come back in. It was only a couple minutes left until these imbalances. And we've talked about those over and over again. So we'll wait to see if there's anything going to happen. Oh, Big Bear AI is a New York stock, so that actually should be showing up on the imbalance locator. So let me just go and see what Big Bear may or may not come out as right there. Ford is looking like it has a buy imbalance underneath it. Right now, Ford, although let me zoom back out a little bit. Okay, so doing nothing today. Schlumberger, Pfizer. Again, shout out to Josh Brown. He's been pumping this thing since 30. I guess that's not working, Josh. Got to pay a little bit more to CNBC to get your names out there. So there goes Pfizer. All right, so other than that, QBTS, I guess, a nice downside play today. But I like it at 15. We talked about some of the advantages of that as well. What else is on here? Oh, there's Big Bear AI. 1 million shares. Wow, for Big Bear AI. Again, a good name, it looks like there, BBAI, for the long. CCL. Oh, we didn't even talk about CCL. They had earnings today,
Monster right? Name on earnings.
Yeah, up 7% there. I don't even know. What does it look like on the daily? Yeah, so I was going to say not breaking out, but it does break past this 2450. So it's getting close to an exciting breakout, I guess. If we can get up into that 27-ish area, that's looking a little bit more healthy today than it was over the last little bit. But holding the 200 period, actually, this is, I don't know why I'm throwing so much shade at this. This is nice off the 200, right? Hit, take. You always like to see that, especially when it's an earnings play. Now you have more juice than just simple technicals. So again, a good play right there for CCL today, up 7%. All right, man, we are now moments away from those imbalances.
Speaking of the imbalances,
2.5 minutes.
Someone just asked, and we got a super chat about this. So this is not just, I responded to the super chat, but for anybody out there, there's no bad questions. Not everybody knows what the imbalance locator is. I have a question as a newer day trader. Can you explain the imbalances? Now, I can do you better than that. And instead of me trying to explain it in 2 minutes before they come out, I just want to direct you all. Actually, I have it playing. Let me just pause this right here. I've put the link in the chat, but we literally have trading imbalances successfully what you need to know. I even believe we have another one out there. There might be a second imbalance video as well, but just check you can literally just search Trader TV Live and imbalances. You'll find it. I did put the link in the description. It's never a bad idea, whether you trade them or not, whether you care about them or not. It's just information. So I don't think you have anything to lose by brushing up on how the imbalances work for the closing auction. It's the same principle for the opening auction. It's the same principle. Like if you're trading IPOs, when stocks are halted, it's an open auction. When IPOs open, it's an open auction. So we look at, I'll look at this. When we're looking at CoreWeave or Circle before it opened up and taking the opening print and deciding where to put limit orders, we're staring down the imbalance locator. So it's important information for anything it's halting, for anything it's opening or closing at the beginning or the end of the day. So you definitely doesn't hurt. I see there's some decent size here, but the couple of names that are up right now, those don't concern me. Archer has pulled back a little bit, so it's only looking like 1.2 million when it was closer to 2 million before. That's not a good sign. I don't know if there's going to be anything there. Ford and Pfizer probably pair off. That's just over history. If you observe it enough, you see that. Estee Lauder's kind of a different one. I haven't seen that up there before. What's interesting about Estee Lauder, that's 1.8 million to the sell side. It's only done 3.4 million shares today, so that's very significant relative to the amount of shares that have actually traded on this thing. And Estee Lauder is not really having a good day at all. Yikes, yuck. And so about 20 seconds until the imbalances come out. Well, if there's anything I'm probably not going to take that Apple trade. It just actually tanked a little bit lower, so it doesn't get into VWAP. It's too late now. I'm just going to be looking at the imbalances, see what comes out, let you guys know where they go for sure. So about 5 seconds, and then you're going to see probably a big shift here. I don't know if anything's going to be big, but we'll let you know right here as Ford comes out smaller than expected. Nvidia, 1.8 million. It was 4 million yesterday, and I think he got 50 cents out of it. So I'm not sure that's going to be big enough. Look at the paired volume on Nvidia. 15 million of it's already paired. So relatively small imbalance on that. TLT is a sell, 1.6. Archer's there, 1.3 million to buy on Archer, but remember, it was looking like it was going to be bigger than that. You got Walmart sell 1.2 million. BBAI did not come out anywhere close to what was expected. It was supposed to be 1 million. I don't even see it on the list at all. So I think mostly a nothing burger. You got Alphabet down here underneath 1 million shares. To the sell side. The overall market, yikes, 77 million to buy, Nasdaq 124, Dow 330, Mag 739. Could just be something to do with the fact that the Nasdaq just made an all-time high. Could it be that? There's not a lot of exuberance there when you get to that top. Really, it's just Nvidia. Nvidia is the only thing, and it's not even that big. You get a little pop in there. That's not bad. You got like 30 cents, but the algos will eat all that juice. For sure. Obviously, I get it. Yeah, that's great. Apple would have been an unbelievably better short as it's absolutely tanking into 200. Yeah, I mean, look, I didn't expect it. I was thinking we were having an inside day. It's an easy scalp trade. We'll risk like 10 cents to make 40. And that'll be good. And instead, Apple falls all over itself. And I don't even see, like, it accelerated down without an imbalance. It's not like it's on the locator anywhere with a big sell imbalance. Apple's just getting its teeth kicked in relative to the market. On a day where the Nasdaq makes a fresh high, Apple decides to completely lose the bid at the end of the day. And like I said, sometimes you just got to find the relative strength versus the relative weakness. Could have done better on it, but you had to be able to find something to trade. There really wasn't much of anything else. I wanted a SoFi breakout that just didn't happen. Hopefully we have a chance to be able to get that tomorrow. I just want to double check to see what else is going on here. Like here's the other Mag 7 names. Amazon, kind of a weird brick wall here at 213.50. Look at the held bid on Amazon. That might lose that bid here as we speak. If you look over at what's going on with Meta, right at the highs. Clearly, Meta does fantastic, and Google's not really doing that bad, but it's not falling all over itself. I just want to let's just smile at Meta for a second. I'm liking Meta because I bought Meta twice this year. Once at spring training, I was literally in the stands at spring training on. It was like one of the ridiculous down days. I don't remember exactly which day it was. I'd have to go back and check. The market was just getting smoked. Whatever, man. I pulled out my phone. I don't usually do that on vacation, but sometimes you do. And I was like, holy crap. I turned to my wife, and I'm like, Nvidia's down this much, and Meta's down this much. And she looks at me, and she's like, what do I care? I was like, yeah, right, you don't. And so I went in, and I bought a few things on that day. We ended up going lower. I didn't buy much. I bought ARM down there, and then I got Meta as well coming back through 500. Love the stock. But, yeah, something wrong with Apple this afternoon. Because everything else I looked at, I just showed you. Unless it was Google, they're doing fine. It's like this is an Apple thing. Apple just going right back into the low of the day. Default will be to look for an Apple short tomorrow, I suppose, in the morning. Like, what else can you say? Not looking good.
Yeah, no. There goes Nvidia, by the way, also up to its high of the day. So, yeah, man, thank you, Nvidia, for everything that you've given me over the last couple of years. You know, we've loved this stock, and there it goes, breaking highs. We had mentioned that, you know, possibly this gets to all-time highs. It might even be tomorrow. You're one story away here on this name. We just got filled on something else right there. BBAI. Today's day just is getting good here into the close, but it doesn't really matter. Everything's just getting higher and higher up as we get out some more here. AMD is now 450 in the money and going higher as well. That's that day's high here for AMD. So, you know, we've really hit some of these names. We've hit them pretty hard today, and it's going to be a good day. So there it goes, man. You know, traders unite today. If you're long only, it's been a crazy day, and then Circle would be a good short if you had something in there today, down 14%. So yeah, like chip space, You know, AI, Palantir's upside, Nvidia, Nasdaq, everything all-time highs. Nice little pullback in for the SPY. We said that sometimes you get that little kickback off of all-time highs, and that looks like what we're doing right now, a little bit of a slowdown. Wait for that next catalyst, world peace. No, I don't know if that's going to be time soon, but okay, let's go back over to Adair. Only 5 minutes left.
This part of the show is brought to you by our friends at Trade the Pool. We got a behind-the-scenes look at Trade the Pool. The dashboard tracks your progress in real time, live stats, profit, and more. You can break down every trade, see your entry, exit, and how it played out in the chart. Check the certificates page for your full summary, achievements, and payout. In this clip, that's Michael T. He's already earned over $75,000 in total payouts. Trade the Pool gives you the tools and the capital to go further. Ready to level up? Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code on screen. Back to you.
So just an update, Nvidia paired half of the imbalance, not all of it. It was almost 2 million. It's down to 1 million shares. So not the whole thing. So even if you're holding along in Nvidia, it's still a buy imbalance, but that's not a very large one. It's not like it's going to print significantly higher because there's a 1 million imbalance there, but it is still a smaller buy on NVDA. Oddly enough, somehow Ford actually didn't flip. And go figure. Someone asked what was wrong with Alphabet. Look, it's not that strong, but it's not doing what Apple did. But you're right. When I was saying Apple was the Mag 7 name that was looking the worst, it was just because I was observing it. We played it off VWAP, and it was at the low of the day. But Google has a chance to close at the low of the day. What was different, I think why I didn't include it, was Google's almost still up 1%. Even if it breaks a low, Alphabet still held a lot of the gap. Big relief rally yesterday, and you're holding on to the top end of the range. But it's not like they've fared all that much better than Apple. It's bouncing the 50 period today, but that's about all you can say that's good about it, and the fact that it's a little bit green. So, yeah, you've got Apple, you've got Google. I would say Apple's having a worse go of it, and I'd probably prefer to trade that tomorrow than Google, just based on the way the trend has been going. The other name that we had this afternoon and got out too early does not. Serious? Really? You couldn't just make an all-time high? Palantir got close, but maybe we have to wait for tomorrow and the 145-ish level. Farmer Boy Art, I don't know, that's a little bit extreme. Is Apple completely toast? I don't know if that's going to be true. I just think it's in a downward trend where people are rotating away from that and into what they're perceived to be better Mag 7 names. I'm in that boat as well. I like Meta and Amazon more than I like Google and Apple. And I think the market's somewhat telling you a lot of the same thing. FedEx isn't moving, but a lot of people have asked, what about FedEx? Look, stay tuned for the report. I don't know how it's going to go. I'm not some analyst on the space, but I do like the fact that it's consolidating above the 50-period moving average. So the only thing I'll be interested in, if there's even a trade in it, which there probably won't be given that it's FedEx, would be if it's breaking higher. Not interested if it's breaking lower at all. I like relief rallies on stocks like this. I don't want to try to short things that are boring.
All right, so AMD, I'm just going to get out of everything that we have right now. Big Bear AI may go out, well, is going out pretty much at its highs. So let's ring the register there. AMD, again, like another monster today, 450 in the money, really holding out for a great one there on AMD. And it looks like we wind up getting it. So we're pretty happy with our AMD trading today as well. So, stay tuned. Join us tomorrow for hopefully all of these trades again. Oh, sorry, that's still Apple. What am I doing? Clicked on the wrong A name there. There's AMD. We are now, I had an offer higher than that. We'll cancel that. So there it is, man. Out at the high of the day, off of long. So this is held all day for AMD. And again, it's not like we didn't mean to do it. It's written right here. We like that trade, AMD, today. It looks like it will continue to be a relatively strong one for us every single day. Let's see where Tesla is ending the day here, 241 and change. So, yeah, man, it never got up to that VWAP again, like we had sort of hoped that it might have. Nvidia off of a nice pull as well here today. At day's high, so we hit offer enter, we get 80s just like that, and now we are out of that trade. So yeah, man, just moving forward, it's just been a really good opportunity. We are now flat today. Great trading on Nvidia, AMD. I'm sure Neil had some bangers there as well. I can't recall exactly the names, but I know you had Indo earlier this morning.
Well, it's the same one. Like AMD is my best stock today. Like it's probably everybody's best stock.
Maybe.
I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see Nimrod what the last symbol is going to be. We only have 20 seconds to go. Thank you for the memberships. A shout out to Nimrod at 50 memberships, but also the super chats. PEACE peace, says Nimrod. That's something we can all get behind. But let's drop the countdown on. Brought to you by Oragenics, OGEN on the IZ. Let's ring that bell for Oragenics, Adara. Right about now. So thank you so much, everybody. It's been an awesome day. And shout out to Nimrod again for those memberships and the super chats at the end. We can all get behind peace, and a big, not just a big shout out to our entire audience, but also a big shout out we had to JT. Trader JT for their super chats and all the other super chats we got. Mark the Realtor sent a few ones. We had Ben Weiss as well. So thank you all. But you don't have to go anywhere, everybody. The market recaps. Hey, we got BlackBerry. Does anyone care about BlackBerry? Nope. Probably not. FedEx will be in play, but there's a lot to go over. I mean, look, CCL was up almost double digits. Check Sean out in just a minute or so at the desk. Brian Shannon's going to be on, obviously, Adara. A lot to go over. Late rally in solar, rally to all-time highs on the Qs, rally to fresh highs, almost fresh highs in something like a Palantir. You have the chips going strong today. There's just a heck of a lot to like in a bull market for sure, and it's always more fun when stocks go up. Look, at the end of the day, Trader TV Live will trade it up, down, left, right, and center, and give you our opinions regardless, but it's always a happier moment when the Nasdaq's up 1.5%, because then it's all smiles for everybody. So I just thank you. Big shout out to our team here on the ones and twos. You know, Fabian back after a day not feeling well. We got Andre and Ramin also on our team, and shout out to the midday boys as well for doing a fantastic job entertaining everybody. Ronnie R said 1999 called. It's BlackBerry. I'm with you. I was the guy. Me. I was the last person you know that had a BlackBerry phone. I promise you that. I bet you anybody out there that's watching the show, I was the last person that had one, but you got to move on. There's always bigger and there's always better. And that also means we're heading on to the market recap show. Sean, Adara, special guest Brian Shannon, starting now.
Not the smoothest throw, but thank you, Neil, for that one. What's up, Fabian and everybody else? Yeah, we will have Brian Shannon on. Good job today with Oragenics. We had Pat LaFontaine.
That was awesome, yeah.
That was really fun to see that as well. Thank you, everybody, for joining us one more time. It's been an awesome show today, and we're going to continue it with your market recap show. It's FedEx on board, so we've got them coming through very, very soon. As soon as we hear that,
they deliver.
Yeah, we'll see what they deliver. That is right there with FedEx, and hasn't been delivering quite well here on the daily. Nice move downside from 300 into 229. We're going to wait for FedEx. We've got the Benzinga Pro platform here. Adara is going to be scanning Twitter for it. When we get that, we will have it for you. FedEx right there. Here's a 30-minute chart. I'm going to change this over to a 1 minute. We also have BlackBerry right there. So we'll have to watch out for them. Again, their QNX software. We'll find out where their revenue streams are coming from with BlackBerry right now. This show brought to you by Real Trading. Make sure you do scan that QR code right there again. But yeah, BlackBerry, we're waiting for them and for FedEx. So as soon as something comes out, I actually muted everything in my ears. So I don't have anything.
FedEx earnings.
FedEx is now out. Okay, so thank you, Adara, for that one. There it is, downside right now. They dropped off that parcel lower right now. So we're going to find out what's going on. Looks like it's just trying to battle itself out here. Just to give you an area, we'll talk about the numbers in a second. The 50-period moving average for FedEx is right here at 220. So if there's going to be a drop-off spot, I think 220 could be it for FedEx, Adara, but we'll wait what's going on there. You know, FedEx, you're going to get us those numbers.
I have them.
You have them right now. Okay, so let's go over and see what's happening on a 1 minute chart. There goes FedEx to the downside. And remember, you gave me the implied move of 7.5% right now in the options market for FedEx. EPS expected 593, revenue of 21.7. What did they deliver?
Yes, they delivered EPS here. Great. Thank you for following that pun. $6.07 per share. That is above estimates. I was at 593. Benzinga has 587. Either way, they beat estimates. Sales here also beating estimates. 22.2 billion versus 21.83 billion expected. Now let's talk about the year-over-year differences, because sometimes that matters. Their year-over-year growth for revenue was infinitesimal. It was not massive. 22.2 billion revenue is mentioned for this quarter in 2025, but in Q1 2024, it was 22.1 billion. So they barely grew the revenue there. Operating margin is increased here, 8.1% versus 7% last year on a GAAP basis. Operating income up year over year on a GAAP basis. But yeah, that revenue growth is small enough that the market might not love that. We also have comments coming in from Fed's bar saying that inflation is set to rise due to tariffs. We're really seeing here, I guess, a break in the Fed.
Right.
We have some Fed speakers like, Waller and Bowman, who are both really, I guess, dovish lately. They're ready to cut in July. And you could tell today at Powell's hearing with Congress, the testimony with Congress, people really want Waller to replace him. And that became very evident. But then we've also got people like Fed Powell, Fed's Barr, Fed's Kashkari that are still saying, or I guess Hammock as well, that are saying we should wait till later to the year to cut. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But it's a very split Fed. And FedEx is pretty split as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, good call there. I wonder if what do you think about a chance of a surprise rate cut? I think that has to be baked in a little bit here. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I know it's not predicted for July.
Yeah.
What were the odds for July? 25% or so?
It's about 17. It's under 20.
Okay.
And I think the thing is, too, the fact I'm seeing way more Feds that are, and Fed Chair Powell said this himself, the majority of Feds, regardless of these one-off comments, are not looking to cut in July. That is 2 people. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens there. But yeah, I think we're probably going to have to wait until
so September.
Yeah, September at the least. That's what
we
Powell
skip
basically
August.
said.
So there is no August meeting, so we'll wait for September on that one. Okay, thank you so much for the nice comments in the chat. We really appreciate that. But here goes FedEx. So UPS, again, was down, now up here, now in the middle again. So UPS not having really any reaction with FedEx on this. So if you hold one or the other, they're kind of just holding hands right now, not moving around. There's FedEx in the middle again. So if you're writing options on this one, you win on FedEx because there's that 7.5% implied move. We don't get it. I'm a little nervous about FedEx. We've had a couple. I actually was walking around today and I saw a FedEx guy on a little electrical bike dropping off some packages as well. So they're getting, into that game as well, watching out for oil prices and FedEx. I think with oil making a move down makes these sort of shipping companies a little more attractive. You said you had something else? I know there's a few flies.
I've been trying to like Mr. Miyagi the fly, but I can't use chopsticks, so just with my hands.
Yep.
Keep an eye here on, I have BlackBerry up, but they don't have earnings yet.
Okay.
FedEx. So FedEx actually suspending its fiscal 2026 outlook amid some uncertain global demand. Again, though, they did beat EPS and sales, but their guidance for, I guess this is the Q4 25 they reported, they're guiding for fiscal 2026. So their guide for Q1 2026, earnings a little bit weaker than expected. They're expecting earnings between $3.40 to $4 per share. Analysts were looking for $4.06 per share, so that is much lower than expected. And again, they did suspend guidance for the fiscal year, still providing guidance for Q1. They're also seeing flat to 2% revenue growth in Q1 as well, so that's not great. They do see their capital spending here for 2026 to be about $4.5 billion and permanent cost reductions of $1 billion. So just some more guidance there from FDX. But yeah, right now, I think right now traders are fed up with FedEx to the upside anyway.
So we called oil possibly seeing a bottom at relatively close to 64.50 or so. Fortunately, on the Trade Ideas platform, I do not have the current CL quote. So what we have to do is look at USO. And today, again, Donald Trump talking all on DJT, some truths going out this morning. An announcement of a ceasefire between Iran and Israel led to a little bit of a gap up there. But there comes oil right back down in again for USO. We gapped up in the market, but oil continued to fall. But names like Coinbase, wow, what a nice day for Coinbase today, taking out 52-week highs. So if you're going to look here, man, right now, Coinbase, what is their market cap? They're just 70 billion. I'm only saying just. I think they can go a lot higher than that on their market cap. Coinbase has a little bit of a runway to go up there. 6% short float is somewhat interesting there for us on Coinbase. And I just wanted to see what they were year to date. 40% upside so far right there year to date, January 1st till now year to date. 38.9% on Coinbase, estimated revenue of $6.25 billion with a market cap of just $70 billion. I think there's more growth there. Estimated EPS 84 cents as well. Coinbase, I like their trend, and right now it's big time upside. Here's the daily on Coin. Wow. Talk about that Genius Act and what that's been doing there for Coinbase and for the space. I actually like this salmon shirt. This is a pretty good one right there. Nice upside play right there coming in for Coinbase. 350. Maybe we'll talk to Brian and see what he thinks about Coinbase. What do you want to talk about?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, speaking of Brian's, there's a different Brian. Brian Armstrong, who's certainly been strong-arming that market lately with Coinbase and that move. Yeah, I want to talk about AeroVironment as well here. fly, I will kill you. Do not sit on my monitor. So AVAV Q4 earnings were a beat across the board. So they beat on EPS, $1.61 per share versus $1.42 expected. And then sales here, $275.05 million, beating estimates of $242.69 million. Now, you might be like, what's wrong with their environment? That would be the guidance for fiscal 2026. So much like FedEx, good earnings, but either mixed guidance or no guidance. So fiscal 2026, they're guiding adjusted earnings between $2.80 to $3 per share. That is so below estimates of $3.72. They're guiding sales between $1.9 and $2 billion, mostly missing estimates of $1.98 billion. So really bad, pretty bad guidance. Good earnings for AVAV. This one doesn't do much intraday volume.
Hey, look, I just want to say a shout out to Farmer Boy Art there in the chat. I already got 3 kids, so you're welcome to come here and see what's going on here. We love all of our viewers. Thank you, Farmer Boy Art, as well. Thank you, Joshua, there in the chat. Slay. All right, so BlackBerry may be out, Adara, from 435 up to 440 or not. Not much volume right now for BlackBerry. The implied move is over 11%. EPS estimate, zeros. So if they come in 0, that would be a good little move for them. They last reported 3 cents per share, though. EPS estimate right now of 0 cents on revenue of just $521 million. So they're actually expecting the notes that we have lower all over the board for BlackBerry. So we'll have to wait to see what they come out with. Apparently AMD's still ripping here in the after hours, not really, but it is taking out day's high. We had a great banger today on advanced micro devices. Of course, we talked about buying them early. We have GameStop is what we're talking about right now. Is there something out on GameStop?
Yeah, apparently they issued, their convertible senior note issues that just came out here. I'm seeing it on X. Some of you guys know they did issue those $2.25 billion in convertible senior notes. And the initial purchaser has exercised their $400 million option, which brings the total for these notes to $2.7 billion. Just an update to their previous thing there. I'm still not seeing BB earnings.
All right, good. Yeah, so we'll wait for BlackBerry. You want to talk about Grow Garden? What's up, Farmer Boy? Roblox right now, man, that game Grow Garden is just, I don't know what has happened with Roblox, but they're setting records like every single day with their online games. And the thing is that these guys are just a platform. They're not even making their own games. Other people coming in, building on top, layering, getting these games going. Roblox collecting the Robux from guys like me and everything. I think Roblox has a lot more to go here into the summer months. I really like Roblox. No stopping this name, man. Earnings per share still red. They don't even have a PE right now. Roblox, just absolute hot fire. What's their move since January 1? Geez, man, why was this not part of my note right there? We had Roblox up 81%. We're still on her screen, by the way, which is completely fine. But there goes Roblox right there, 81% year to date. And here's what it looks like on the chart. Roblox doing the best it can to hold that $100 mark. And it's been just straight fire to the upside. All right, so what was down today? We talked a little bit here about USO, right? Oil, this is what I'm talking about. Coming into decent support again. We talked about that on a larger scale with crude being at 64.50. I love that level, 64.54 USO. Downside also nat gas today as some of the energy space coming back in. We had TAN. I don't even think we found a story there about TAN.
Oh, we did. I mentioned it.
Right, it was a Senate?
Yeah, it was just more stuff with the big, beautiful bill, and it actually wasn't even good. They said they want to get rid of some of these solar tax credits. So at this point, I think anytime we hear anything about the big, beautiful bill, solar stocks move in some direction.
Well, today we had some big, beautiful stocks moving to the upside. There goes Sunrun, had a nice move off $7 up to 680. We had FSLR also trying to get going again, but they all faded back. If you do like any of these plays, I'd say take a shot at some of them. I mean, if you're looking at First Solar right now, you're underneath the 50-period moving average right now for FSLR and trying to hold. So, I mean, if you went long in and around this 140 marker and gave yourself 120 as a bottom, hey, man, might be worth a shot right there on FSLR. Look, MSOS, I'm down 87% on my MindMed holdings. So, hey, how's it going? But I actually looked at all my cannabis names. I'm down like definitely half a mortgage or something like, I guess depends on what house you're buying. I was actually talking with Chris there and he's like, never buy the worst house on this block. I think you could have done that in the last little while there. I mean, I look at some of the real estate markets in Detroit and some of the south side of Chicago. Some of these places are definitely starting to rip higher, but MSOS, I I mean, every time this ETF, this is the marijuana, every time it gets going, it just gets hit right back to this downside. I mean, I don't know about all of you, but I'm looking, cannabis prices are just like, you're grabbing like an ounce for under $100. I'm not even talking about the complete crappy stuff. That's Canadian. Like, again, different levels. But here in Canada, if you're buying like quads, you're at like maybe $180 to $200 an ounce. And that's about it. Why do I know this much? Probably from Fabian. Oh, okay. No, just playing around. So there we go. I don't like the space. I don't like any cannabis names. You can look at a name like TLRY. They're all just so beat up. And this is probably because I've lost so much money in them. But look at this downside right here for Tilray. Anytime it gets going, it just gets hit right back down again. Whoopsies. Look at ACB, Aurora Cannabis. Like, yeah, they had a great time. Bang. All the way down there again. Like, great earnings report, bud. All the way back from $6 down into $4 again. Some of these names, Weed is another one, or CGC. This is Weed in Canada. This is now a cannabis ETF, actually, Weed. Look at this cannabis ETF. How's that going for you right now? Rolling downhill. Right there is the cannabis ETF. All right, we do have Brian Shannon on momentarily. FedEx, though, so their report came out, and again, pretty disappointing, right? I mean, we're expecting the move of over 7%. Looks like it's just down 2% right now. FDX and then UPS not doing much either. We still, BlackBerry, did we say they're out yet? I don't think they are,
no,
right? Yeah, so we're waiting for them, but it's a nice move there right now to the upside for BlackBerry. Not that nice, up 2%. We'll give it some more room on that. A lot of people in the chat talking about Tesla. Wow. Oh boy, and for good news, good reason, sorry, for Tesla. So look what happens. I'm going to call up a little bit of a bigger chart here. I'm not going to keep Brian waiting. One more minute, Mr. Shannon. There's the break right there on Tesla, breaking below its day range right there. So it just comes out, breaks through 340. Looks like Tesla wants to go lower and lower and lower, and we're going to slap a fail today because we talked about that 360 level. Uh-oh, there goes this, whatever was up here. But there goes Tesla to the downside again. And just looking at a daily chart, that high, look at this. Forget about all this up there, right? This is presidential bump. I mean, the minute that we saw Elon jumping around on stage with President Trump, then all of a sudden President Trump gets elected, then all of a sudden, boom, goes.
I made an infographic of this. I was just saying I can show it.
I remember something. Yeah, if you want to call it up,
I'll pull it up.
That's no problem. But right into here, just quickly, and then we'll call on Brian. There's the high there. There's the high at 360 again. We come in one more time, and maybe we just double touched again there at 360. But hey, it's news related, right? I mean, when you're showing robo-taxis veering into other lanes, people are going to get nervous about that. I say that is fool's gold. I think if you're excited about robo-taxi, you buy the dip today, down 3%. Up 9 yesterday, down 3 today. That's still net 6.
Been there
Fabian, give me a call when we're ready. Are we ready, Fabian? Let's bring him on. It's Trader Talk with Brian Shannon. Oh, Mr. Shannon. Oh, there's 2 of me here. That's not a good sign. There it is. Hey, Brian. Oh, look, we're kind of twinning a little bit here. We got the sort of off-colored shirt on there. This is salmon. What color is yours?
I think it's just red. I don't know, it's got it like a pinkish red.
I like the shirt maroon, maybe. All right. So, yeah, how's your day going?
Good. I just learned what did you call it? Four quads or quads?
Yeah, quads. Yeah, that's like
what that was in the chat.
Right. What did the chat say? What it was there? There was a.
It's like 4 A's, 4 A plus, top shelf.
Right, top shelf kind of stuff there. Right, exactly. I think if you're going to do something like that, you might as well do the best. So, anyways, we're going to get on that one. I don't think you're a big fan of MSOS or some of those marijuana ETFs. I mean, anything I look at just keeps on going to the downside. You've been an investor in any of those, man. I was saying earlier that instead of buying some of those shares, I should just rolled up those stock certificates and smoked those because my portfolio is getting hammered in this space. Anything you like? MindMed, MNND is more the mushroom side of things, different a little bit than cannabis. But you like any names in that space? I don't know.
Not really. I mean, MindMed, medicine, whatever it's called. That one is, more neutral. It's not going down the way all the other ones are. So it's got that going for it. But, I kind of thought Tilray was getting into the alcohol business as well. And I thought that was going to save them, but no such luck. It just continues to be a stock that bleeds out week after week after week.
Right, of course, and Brian from Colorado, we're here in Canada, so the marijuana business has been around for quite a minute over here. All right, so we had, again, the Nasdaq today. I think you and I talked about this last week when I was asking you. It looks like we have a magnet pulling up right into all-time highs, and that magnet pulled it right there today within pennies. What we had on the show, we had around 540.70. It looks like today, I'm not sure exactly where we got to. The high 540, yeah, 70. The all-time high I think was 540.89 or something like that. So what do you think about this triple top right here? There's always some exhaustion, I feel like, every time we make some of these new highs. You feeling like that now? I mean, there's still so many names in the NASDAQ that aren't near highs, like a Google, like an Apple. Is there more room to run here, or maybe exhaustion?
A couple things there. A triple top is kind of a rare thing. I think it's just an area where there's been supply before, and we'll see if it is again. What we often see here is that we will come up through that level a little bit, then maybe bleed off a few days to see if the market accepts it. If we were to see a deeper pullback, Sean, what would really be great to see here would be something like this. Let's say we run up a couple days, and then over the next, as we, ramp up into earnings, we start to do this, let that 50-day moving average catch up to it, build a higher low over here, and then you could call this a big inverted head and shoulders pattern. That would be a really nice scenario. But, that's thinking too many steps ahead for right now, because right now, that high is 540.81. Today, the high was 540.70, I believe. So we're there basically. It's not like we get a prize for it, but it's nice to see.
I feel like we've just had, and I didn't ask ChatGPT this, maybe I should, but this might have been the fastest 52-week low to 52-week high in a major index, such as the Nasdaq or the triple Qs, that I've ever seen. I mean, we were just at lows right here on April 4th, and already today, coming into June 20-something, 6th, we're already back to 52-week highs. I don't know if I've ever seen, come to my screen right here. This is a 50-period moving average. Brian, I don't know if I've ever seen it looking like very V-shape-ish like that. That's quite amazing right there. Normally we talk about like a whooshing, almost like a smiley face right there, but that's almost like a Joker evil face smile right there for the triple Qs. But good talk on it coming back into those levels. What did you think about Tesla? I mean, Tesla up 9% yesterday, giving a little bit back today, down 3% here today. Until we break some of these levels here, we got the swooping up 50 period. We've got 200 period now turning upside as well. These are all around 313, 312. I know you and I have talked Tesla. I feel like you're not the biggest fan of this name, but right into here, I think if you're looking constructively, 300 looks like a decent area where we could find some more support. And I think it might be along if we get back into there. Any thoughts on Tesla?
Sean, as you had pointed out, 2 weeks ago, I think when we first got up here, that 330 was your target right in there, and that is basically because it was that prior support. And we spent some time, battling with it. We made those higher lows, and then, of course, the gap up on the news. Now, if we can settle back down into that zone and maybe, so here we are a little bit after hours, maybe if we come down like towards that 5-day moving average and into that zone and then start to pull back higher again, I'd love to see this prior resistance in here turn back to support. Down to 325 maybe, but I'd really love to see that 330 level hold again, maybe just a point or two above or below it.
We did get FedEx earnings as we start the new earnings season right now. And Micron kicks it off tomorrow for the semiconductor. So symbol MU. I'll give you a second to call it up. I don't know if it's been on your radar or not, but Micron has been so hot fire. There's one red candle in what looks to me like the past 20, let me see if I zoom in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's call it 15 days or so. One red candle, I'm not even sure that should have been red, but nice move to the high side right now for Micron. I always get the feeling, Brian, that when you're this far, like when's the last time we were here? Like that was a huge move again with election sort of euphoria hitting the market. We are well away now from the 50 period, well away from the 200. I always get nervous because I feel like when you've had this kind of a run, you almost need to report the perfect quarter. What is your opinion on getting into names like this ahead of earnings? Are we too late, 1 day away? Or do we just maybe take a small piece here and think that the stock is right for a new all-time high?
It's more than doubled off those lows from April. So with news coming, you just have to think this has the potential to become a buy the rumor, sell the news.
Right.
And then not necessarily that I would expect a major reversal, but it's gotten quite extended to the upside. So maybe we start to see some pullback, even to the month to date anchor. I think, Sean, that would be a great place for it to pull back down in towards that 115 if we get, if we see something hard, and then look for stabilization, then continuation back up. That would really, and that's about that 115 level here is this prior resistance as well. So I'd love to see it pull back like that. I know that doesn't help people who are, listening right now and hold it, but it just feels like a little bit of buy the rumor, sell the news.
Yeah, no, I think that's what our viewers are looking for, right? I mean, I agree with you. That's why I was trying to lead that way. I feel like it's a little overbought right now heading into that. A double up, I mean, take some profit. And again, if you're in a position, nothing wrong with taking a little bit off the top. Hey, if it doubles and you take off half, you're playing with house money. I think that would be a good move. You and I have gone back and forth.
Calls.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. There you go. There. Where's my bang? All right. More options talk with Brian Shannon. All right. You and I have gone through this for 3-4 years now, back and forth. And there's one manager that I know you don't appreciate as much as the others. And that would be Miss Kathy Wood.
Let me pull up ARC Fund.
There we go. You already have it up. So I have it on a weekly right here, Brian. And again, I know that you've talked about destruction of wealth, and I understand that. But if I'm going to look at this and I take away the symbol, if I wasn't aware of what was going on right now, doesn't this look like, a little bit of a breakout happening here on the weekly chart? We got to go all the way back to 22 here. I may be giving Brian Shannon a little bit of an indicator here. Hey, maybe it's time to get long, Brian. There goes ARC. It looks pretty good to me. I'd like to see this 200 period starting to slope a little bit. But what do you think about ARC up here? If we took the name away and sort of that opinion, to me it looks pretty healthy, like we want to go upside. We know her investments are in speculative names. So you have to feel for that at some point and get a feel for those names. But what do you think technically? I think it looks okay.
If you want exposure into this group with one of the worst money managers there is, then go ahead and do this. Or if you think you can do a better job at picking the stocks, then I think that's probably the better way to go. It's had a phenomenal run here. This stock, this fund is up 75% off the April lows, and it's up, from about 55 to 70. So, 25% year to date. Those are great numbers. It's, if you're going to hold it, know what the risks are. It's a basket of highly speculative stocks, and when they work well. But, don't get the FOMO like people did over here and forget to sell. Don't forget about risk management, because the manager of this fund has no concept of what risk management means. Maybe she learned.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here with us today, Brian Shannon. And speaking of Kathy Wood, we know she's very involved in Circle. Circle and Coinbase have had a lot of these stable coin catalysts. All of this is to say that a lot of these finance names, and especially fintech names, have been moving as of late. We've had some MasterCard-related catalysts. PayPal will drop. So with all that in mind, are there any specific sectors within finance that you're focusing on right now? Any stocks you like or dislike at this time?
That's a good question. Sector-wise, no, Dara, there's not. You look at Circle, and it's had this massive run. I think it's probably due for a pullback down to the anchor from the IPO near 175. If it's to do that quickly, I bet you there's a pretty good bounce candidate for highly skilled traders down in that zone. But sector wise, there's nothing really that stands out to me. I know that what was it? SoFi was looking good for a while. I haven't looked at that recently.
And Robinhood.
And SoFi behaves well.
Yeah, we had SoFi, and we also had, just to give you another name there, Robinhood, of course, has been.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to forget about that. That's been going crazy. And if you do want more of Brian Shannon's opinions on Kathy Wood, go make sure you do follow him at Alpha Trends. We're just playing around. I love the passion there. All right, one thing I want to talk to you about. Seems like you nailed another one. Let's go stock blitz. We just did a bunch of stocks. I love this graphic. All right. I don't know if you know where I'm going with this. Yeah, that's a pretty good little.
I don't.
What do they call those? Emotes or something? I don't know what they are. But bumpers. We're going to Bitcoin, Brian. I saw you put a tweet out on the weekend, and you said it's starter position time. I'm guessing we ran into an anchored VWAP there. I don't know if you have the tweet up that you posted or what your opinions are, but congratulations. You nailed this one. I think your tweet was around 99, 98,000 because I remember looking at it and was like, wow, if this guy nails that bottom. Again, it kind of looks like good support. So regardless of anchors or anything like that, 100 holds for now. But give me your opinion. What are you thinking right now? I'm pretty sure I saw you. We're talking about a new position or a starter position here in BTC. You want to talk about this?
Sure. So Bitcoin pulled back down to the anchor off of the April 7th low. Okay. So I did take a starter position in there. That's right in here. And it just happened to nail that VWAP. You know, the 2 days before it had a VWAP as well. So I was thinking maybe it pulls back in there. Now, what I honestly thought was going to happen, Sean, was that we were going to come up to about the prior support at 103 and then pull back down into here, because that would have been a double top measurement. And that is the conjunction of the year-to-date anchor, the anchor off the year-to-date low, the anchor from the election, et cetera. So it was only a starter piece. Now we're right up against the anchor from the all-time high. And what I'd really like to see happen over here on this time frame is that we maybe get a little bit, we either consolidate here through time, or we start to pull back a little bit in the next couple days down to the anchor from that bounce over the weekend, build some energy, and then we run to new highs. I think it's really setting up bullishly. This is looking a lot like a shakeout that it's recovered from. We're not going to get the chance to buy it down at 94, so keep a close eye on it for it to be able to break from here and go on to new all-time highs.
A great look there on Bitcoin. I'm been buying these dips throughout. I think it's one of those things that we could have a generational product on our hands. I think it's already proven that. We'll see what happens over the next couple of years. Some manager really likes it. I can't remember her name, but we'll pass on that. All right. So I know I've talked to you about this because I try to talk to everybody about it. I really like Big Bear AI, BBAI, and this is another name. They get another deal today. They're in airports. They're in security. Here goes Big Bear AI. It tries to break out right now, but I'm getting a little nervous. I'm long here, not stuck long, but we're long at $4.20. $4.20. And we already made this high right there at 517, and today we get a huge move up 24% again today on Big Bear AI. It's only up 18% year to date, but a short float, Brian, of hovering near 30%. Does this stop here? And if anybody's long Big Bear AI, where is this out? I really liked it because we were basing here. We got earnings. They held that level of 350, and now we start to go back up to the upside. Obviously, for it to get back up to $10, the short squeeze is going to have to be all over social media and so on and so forth. But Big Bear AI, we get a couple more stories, and this thing maybe flies. You like this kind of a play? Not really making any money yet, so it's not like an ideal name maybe for longer term portfolios, but Big Bear AI for a swing, I think it's on fire right here. Anything on this name? Have you looked at this recently?
It is. I actually own some. And, today, 300 million shares, Sean. Its average daily volume over the last 20 days is just 133 million. And, the stock has a history of making these massive runs, just like it did, over here, where it ran from, $3 a share to $11. So I'm not predicting that that's going to happen again, but it's the type of stock that can make those moves. I wouldn't be surprised to see it, go up towards 8, 9 before you start to get a deeper pullback. And, the momentum is behind it. It's a retail favorite, and obviously there's some institutions in there as well, trading 300 million shares in a day. So it's got that strong momentum. It's got the short position. I think you're going to continue to see it march forward here in the near term.
All right, it's 433. Thanks, Brian. It's 433. Is there a name maybe potentially that you've been talking about, you're looking at? We just went over some Bitcoin. We know that's a relatively new starter position for you. Anything else at all that you want to talk about that we could focus on maybe for next week?
Sure. I put this one on Twitter today, which is Viva Systems, VEEV. Okay. They reported just about 3 weeks ago right here, and we had that big gap up. Now it's consolidating, a nice little formation here right along that rising 20-day moving average. It's battling with the anchor here on the right side from the earnings. This looks like a little bit of a shakeout, and I think in the next day or two, it's likely to break past about 285 and then be able to continue to move higher. If we back it up to the weekly chart, you can see it's got some room to run. And, on the weekly chart, this looks like a perfect little pennant, really. Big volume break higher, lighter volume on the consolidation past this big range, and probably heads up towards 325, 330.
All right.
So I like VIV coming in the next day or two.
Yeah, I like it giving you some of those different names, right, VIV. So we're going to look at that. Check out, I don't know, do you know when they report? We can check out when VIV reports maybe.
They report August 27th.
Perfect. We don't need to, you got it right there. So a little bit of time before we have to worry about that. Whoosh, this is the book right here. It's Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. It's Brian Shannon. It is, I'm going to be saying this all year until you win it again next year. It is your educator of the year on StockTwits. Go follow him. No better follow there on X and on StockTwits. I guess I got to get over on StockTwits. Therefore, we can compete, but I can never compete. So there it is right there. It's Brian Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us one more time and going over all of those names. If you missed any of it, please rewind. Did you want to talk about your handle at all? I know you have a subscription service.
Sure. I mean, on Twitter at Alpha Trends, I've got a $10 a month, basic subscription where I talk about the markets each and every day, mention a stock here or there, popular names, and it's a super inexpensive way to get a look at my work every single day.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. I think it's a great deal. I think I want to encourage all of our viewers to head over there and give this guy a follow. Thank you again, Brian. From Adara and myself, we appreciate everything that you do for us on the show every Tuesday. So thank you so
both,
much.
And to your viewers as well.
Great. Thank you. That's Brian Shannon. Take care. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
All right, Adara, some quad talk there, some talk on the markets. We had some BBAI.
Yes, we did.
The one thing before we go, we got to get out of here. FDX actually started pulling lower as we started talking. So we actually got down lows, almost down 6% right there on FedEx. Yeah, so a little bit of a fail sign right there for FDX, man. I think we crushed this show one more time. Again, thank you everybody for staying late with us. Again, when we have a guest like that, there's no better. I want to thank all 3,000 of you that are still with us right now. And that tune, let's just do a quick little roll call. We are a little bit behind on time. I've been going back and forth with a bunch of you on the chat, but for sure, I got to say a big shout out to Mike P. DeRider. He's been on here all the time. There it is. What's up, NFL Fantasy? I love NFL Fantasy. I was actually talking today with one of the guy. I have Marvin Harrison Jr. He's trying to get him off me. I'm saying no way. I think the quarterback will solve that problem. What's up to Michael DCA? Yeah, you want dollar cost average? I think that's it. What's up, Farmer Boy Art as well? Thank you for your nice comments as well. Joshua as well, the stock professor. Tia's always here. Andrew's here. It's just the crew, man. Thank you so much for being here with Adara and I every single day. That is for sure. Okay, I was supposed to actually go out tonight with some of the guys from the NYSE and everything like that, but it's a busy day in the Katina household.
What you guys
my wife is off. My wife has a board meeting, so she has to do what she's got to do, and we've got volleyball and golf tonight as well. Yeah, so we're excited for that. I'm going to take my son out, and the daughter is the volleyball player. So we've got that going tonight. So tonight, I think we're going to do Subway.
Oh.
I don't think I've ever asked you.
I don't think you have either. And I have.
All right, so this is like a sub. So you can put whatever you want on it. What kind of sub are you dealing with? My wife is all about meatball sub.
Yeah, I haven't been to Subway in years. So I would just say, I mean, I like veggie. And then when they had maybe a lunch meat, if I assess that, it looks fresh, because
like
can
a
be a little sus
turkey,
with that.
what do you think?
Maybe a turkey.
Yeah,
I'd
I love
probably do a
turkey
turkey. I would definitely have some veggies on it. There'd be probably some light mayo, maybe some guac. And I miss when they had those panini breads. Don't know if they still have it, but in my dream world, they do still have it, so it'd be a panini.
Good, we love that. Thank you so much, Adara, for doing all the work. I mean, all those graphics. Make sure you go find.
What's your sub of choice?
So at Subway, they have like a steak and cheese kind of one.
Oh, okay, that sounds really good.
I like that. It's like a shaved steak in there. But yeah, a classic one. Oh, they have a little chicken situation. I don't know. They actually have those. They actually have like rice bowls too.
Great.
Yeah.
They're switching it up. I like that.
I think they're still doing that. I don't know. I might get one of those. Trying to be a little bit better on the carb situation over there. I don't want Sharif to catch up to my body, you know what I mean? So I know he's really working out hard there as well. But thanks, Adara. Thank you, everybody. Fabian, what's on your sub? Okay, he's just saying Italian and everything. I was gonna say prosciutto and provolone.
Oh my
with a
God,
little tomato on
gotten
there.
so into
some
prosciutto
mozzarella.
lately.
Oh my God. But they ain't serving any of that at Subway, of course. We got to go somewhere else for that. Thank you so much for joining us. Tomorrow's another day. It's Wednesday, and hopefully it's a little cooler around here, man. It's like 40 plus degrees, over 100 Fahrenheit right now in lovely Toronto. So stay cool, stay dry. Stay inside, I think, tonight.
Stay not humid.
Yeah, we're going to the driving range, so we're not going to be walking around too much. That should be fun. All right, thank you, everybody. See you tomorrow, 8:30. You found the best trading show on the planet. So what are you going to do now? Simple. Hit the like, subscribe, and share it. It's Trader TV Live. We're here, baby.